By Jay. Sandy, happy Friday.
Hey, good morning, Blake and Aaron. How are you guys doing? Happy
Good.
Friday.
What do you got for us this morning?
Looks like we're in for a little bit of rain today, but there's an accident in Breakers. So if you live in the Eastern Districts this morning, hopefully you've already long left out. But if you haven't, I expect some delays as CUC and the police are on the scene.
I forgot to mention, also traffic related. Right at the end of Linford Pearson, where they're doing the new construction, the circle there was a wild cow just running down the road.
I didn't see that this
and he
morning.
had a long rope on him, so clearly he got loose.
Go, cow, go. Yes.
But I didn't want him to end up a beef patty on the road, but just be careful if you're in that area. I don't know if it's been contained, but he was running across the road in front of me.
A wild cow.
So yes, this car actually ran into someone's yard, took out a light pole.
Those light poles always jumping out.
I know. No reported injuries as yet, but CUC is on the scene tending to the light pole. And in other news,
I've hit a light pole before.
You've hit a light pole before?
Driving too fast?
Yes, driving too fast.
Exactly.
Trying to be cool in my Camaro.
There you go.
Jumped right out at me.
Yep, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. So the police are looking for the public's assistance in finding a man. They say he's a wanted, convicted man. So 28-year-old Ronald Ernesto Swaby was found guilty by a grand court trial for possession of an imitation firearm and is currently on bail awaiting sentencing. So he failed to attend a scheduled court appearance on Monday, and his bail has since been revoked. So the police are saying that if you see him, do not approach him. He's considered dangerous, and you should just call 911.
Where do we know what area he's in? Mostly?
They haven't said, but CMR sources said West Bay.
We know you got to jump. Go.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Right.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was luckily I lived to 10.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday.
Bigger.
What's going on?
Bigger. Better. Bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's community radio. We are still spilling the tea and committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman, live, direct, it's the cold, hard truth. Now, join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Yay. It's Friday. The new governor designate arrives today. I think technically we have to call her that until she's actually sworn in. That's just how it works. So we will be live streaming that today at 11:30 is her arrival at the Owen Roberts International Airport. And then her swearing in ceremony is scheduled for, I think, 2 p.m. And we will live stream both of them for all of you here. So check us out on social media. We'll have the live streams up. And we'll welcome her, the second woman to take up the post here in the Cayman Islands. And of course, we'll welcome her with, open arms, like we welcome all other governors. And we wait for them to show us what they're made of. The concept of a governor is, different to some of you depending on where you are from. But here in the Cayman Islands, we've had, I guess, governors really before we split from Jamaica, before there was that constitutional change. But, now we get our own governor. We don't have to share a governor with anyone else. So it's someone who's appointed by the UK and here to keep an eye on things, because y'all don't know, but you're the UK's property. Speaking of the UK, looks like they're still having some issues politically, honey chill. Across the pond, as somebody said this morning, they are still trying to get their lives together. Bless their little hearts. The world is a big political mess, if you ask me. Some people are worse than others. But the new prime minister, what's his name now? Oh, gosh, he's so handsome. Anyway, he's looking at already having one of his key individuals resign. So this is not a good look for him. Let me just see if I can find that story and share that with you guys. Lots of news coming in this morning, by the way, including there's an accident in the Breakers area. Apparently a car ran into somebody's yard. So what a hot mess. Yes, Sunak. I'm trying to find the story. It was just sent to me this morning. Oh, where is it? Oh, yes, here it is. So apparently UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, rocked by resignation of top ally, is it Rab or Rabe, over bullying allegations. Now, this is quite interesting. Dominique, I'm going to go with Rabe, has held several high-profile posts since joining the government as a junior minister back in 2015. And of course, now Prime Minister Sunak has suffered what they say is a serious blow to his premiership on Friday, today, as one of his closest allies resigned over allegations he bullied officials. Ooh, honey chill. I mean, y'all should know by now, there are new rules in the world of politics. The hashtag Me Too of everything. Me Too of bullying, Me Too of mental health, Me Too of sexual harassment, Me Too of sexual assault. You can't do the things that you did 25, 30 years ago, or maybe even 5 years ago. You gotta shape up in the world of politics, folks. It's just not acceptable behavior any longer. But some people just don't know how to be nice. And it's unfortunate because honestly, I mean, I get it. We're going to talk about politics a little bit this morning. There was a political meeting last night. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And I guess I can understand how some politicians just never get the memo that we have expectations of them. Here's the two of them together. But we do have expectations of you. And you're going to be called out. People are still afraid, especially if they're civil servants, but they're gaining a little bit more liquid courage. I shouldn't say liquid courage, but you know what I mean? They're less and less afraid of what shenanigans you guys are up to. And they're more likely to report your bad behavior. So I would really encourage not just civils, not just politicians, but even people in the civil service. Some of y'all are big into bullying. Please stop it, because you're going to get called out. Even here in this program, we got a lot of reports about people who work in management and government. And we people like Sandy, can you do an anti-bullying show from the perspective of the civil service? And I'm like, what? Is this really a thing? They say, honey, child, you have no idea how much of a thing it is. So he's quit as deputy prime minister. We're going to be talking about Cayman's former deputy premier here in a. So he has now resigned. Has he resigned completely? Anyway, he's quit as deputy prime minister and justice secretary after an official inquiry found that some of the claims made against him were justified. Sunak says that he accepted Rabe's resignation with great sadness. Don't be sad about it. Accept it with glee, because if he's that kind of person, going around harassing people and whatever else, he does not need to be there, honey jail. It's time that it's time that we really start to not accept any foolishness from these individuals. So apparently a review was done and it was conducted by an independent investigator, and it followed 8 formal complaints against his behavior while acting as foreign secretary, BRICS secretary, and justice secretary. So it looked like he's been at it for a minute. Just unbelievable. He says, I called for the inquiry and undertook to resign if it made any findings of bullying whatsoever. And I believe it's important to keep my word. Okay. He added that the inquiry into the allegations dismissed all but 2 of the claims levied against him and concluded that not once in 4 years sworn or shouted at anyone, that he sworn or shouted at anyone, let alone thrown anything, because these were the allegations, thrown anything or otherwise physically intimidated anyone, nor intentionally sought to belittle anyone. So the report, which was published in full after his resignation today, concluded that he acted in a way that was intimidating in the sense of unreasonably and persistently aggressive conduct in the context of a work meeting. It also involved an abuse or misuse of power in a way that undermines or humiliates. Wow. What a hot mess. It went on to say that his conduct was experienced as undermining or humiliating by affected individual who was, which was inevitable, and it inferred that Ray was aware that this would be the effect of his conduct at the very least, and he should have been aware. So, the report says that a dangerous precedent and setting the threshold for bullying so low, and said its findings were flawed. That's what he said. So he said, it wasn't really bullying. It was just, a regular day at the office. What a hot mess. So what can I tell you? Weed out all the bad ones, honey chill. That would be my best advice. Now, speaking of weeding out the bad ones, let me say that I was very, very surprised last night. I didn't go to Kenneth's political meeting. You guys heard he did call late in the show in case you missed it and gave a personal invitation. But unfortunately, I had some other, I'm just pulling up some audio here. I had some other commitments that I had to make, most notably family. My daughter comes first. So I was here on the sofa reading with her, honey Jill, reading all about Floppy the dog. Floppy always has adventures. So last night, the book was Floppy is a Hero. He was saving little puppies from another dog. So cute. But these things are important to me because, honey child, I can't be out here trying to save the world and trying to save you all. And, my family goes down the toilet in the meantime, because that's just not how it works. So you got to do your job as a parent, do your job in your household first, as a wife and other things before you can go out in these streets. So, and I only get the one, like I keep telling people. Some of y'all have 4 and 5. So maybe if you mess up the first 2 times, you get a chance at redemption with a couple of the other kids. I will not be having that opportunity. 1 shot, 1 and done. That's it. So I wasn't there, but of course, y'all know I don't have to be there to get all the sus. And indeed, I did. So it's very, very interesting, some of the things that I saw. The most surprising thing really for me was the fact that I found this very surprising that Kenneth Bryan had former Deputy Premier Chris Saunders speak. Now, why do I find this surprising? Well, politically, it is surprising. Let's make no bones about it. First and foremost, it doesn't take a rocket science to know that Chris Saunders would not be happy, and we've seen his attempts to demonstrate his unhappiness and burn Rome down when he was essentially fired from his job as deputy premier and minister. To bring him back on the platform as though, because this platform was a meeting for Kenneth specifically, it's his meeting, but it also was an opportunity for the rest of the PAC government to be showcased and to show what they've been up to. And so it's very, very strange, honey child, that the person that he chose to actually introduce him would have been none other than the former deputy premier, Chris Saunders. I mean, it is very, very unusual. Now, what's even more unusual than that, to be quite frank and honest, is the fact that I think that Mr. Bryan must not be cognizant or aware or just doesn't care. I'm not quite sure which one I am going to go with quite yet. That the reason, the only reason and the true reason that this man being Chris Saunders was removed from office was in relation to sexual harassment complaints. What does that say to the victims? You see, this is where you men, now you got to forgive me for being me, because I'm going to just call a spade a spade. This is where you men really make me wonder about your common sense and your commitment to the cause of making sure that everyone, but especially women, can be safe in the work environment. Cannot be the case for you to know that this man was embroiled in such a scandal and there were victims who were actually on leave, civil servants, women, mothers, wives in this community who were on leave because of the bullying behavior and the sexual harassment from Chris Saunders. I just, you know, I'm shocked and flabbergasted. Yeah. It's disheartening. It says to me that we, the people of the Cayman Islands and our elected officials, have a long ways to go, honey child. You know, we just not getting it. We're not there. Will we ever get it? Man, we have got to get more women in the Legislative Assembly who understand these things and know how to represent and bring these issues to the forefront in a meaningful way. I'm disappointed. And it's all in the name of politics. Let's just be very, very clear here. We ignore a lot in the name of politics so that we can continue to essentially, you know, do whatever we want that might be politically expedient to us. But I'm going to say this: one should be careful of what you think might be politically expedient to you, especially when the majority of voters in this community are actually women. Let's have a look at the videos, some of the clips from last night.
Please give a warm welcome to the member of Bordentown West, the MP, Mr. Christopher Saunders.
All right, just a second. It looks like there's a bit of a delay with him walking up to the stage. So just to let our listeners on the radio know what's going on.
Good night, everybody. I can't hear you. Good night. Thanks so much for coming out to show your support for Kenneth, Vernon, Brian. Sorry, Kenneth, I'm going to V2. Can't help it.
Please give a warm welcome.
Oh, my apologies. Those are the two same clips. Hold on a second. But anyway, he goes on to say that, he was there in order to, give his support to Kenneth, and that essentially, he wasn't gonna be there because his mom is having surgery, and I'm flabbergasted, truly and truly and truly flabbergasted. Even John, now you guys know sometimes I take a real hard line with John, but in all fairness to him, there are times when John does a better job than some others that I would expect better from. Even John, when he had his meeting after they're now having these midterm meetings after Chris Saunders was removed, even John had better sense than that. John, I'm sure him and Chris still have a very cordial and good relationship. He didn't bring Chris up there to introduce him. I'm just saying. Anywho, I heard the crowd was okay. I know y'all Caymanians love numbers. Maybe about 60 people is what I understood, which is not bad, I suppose, for a political meeting on a Thursday night. The online stream numbers were very, very poor. I did make some observations in relation to that. I saw somebody said Radio Cayman might have had about 20 something at one point, was the top. I saw at another point there was like 8. When I just had a quick glance, there were 8 people tuned in to Radio Cayman. There were hold on, I don't want to lie now, so let me pull up my figures. Let me get my receipts, honey child. So we had 8 at the time I looked at Radio Cayman, and then we had, I think it was 21 on Kenneth's page, and then there were 6 on YouTube for Cayman Life TV. So not a whole lot of people online watching it. By comparison, just FYI, when we live streamed the meeting for Mr. Seymour, at one point, I think there were almost 200 people watching Mr. Seymour. So that's quite telling. This person says, honey child, where were the supporters for his meeting last night? The only people I heard blowing horns were his campaign committee. I think he has lost already. Well, I wouldn't say that. 2 years is a long time before an election. And a lot of y'all will forget all sorts of stuff by then. Somebody else said, good morning. I hear his Caymanian accent kicked in. Oh my goodness. Speaking about Saunders, this other person remarks, it might be unusual, but not surprising, since they're the same two that are and have been planning to pull a coup to get rid of the premier. They're both power hungry and will stop at nothing. Trust me, this is not done yet, and you can't count Mac out of the picture either. Sounds like it was a big crowd, almost as many as Cornwall's meetings. Frank Cornwall? Oh, geez, I'm peace. You need to behave yourself. Good morning to Everton. Good morning to Alejandro. He says that was more than 60 people. Misjudgment, Sandy. I wasn't there, and I got that number of 60-ish from someone who was there. I don't know who sits and counts the numbers at political meetings, but if anybody did, do let us know what your opinions are and how many people are there. Good morning to John. Sue says this is a disgrace. What a mess, really, for him to show his face. Unbelievable. I think it's really about a couple things. There is the sense that Mr. Saunders is still trying to remain relevant, which is important for him to be able to do so that he can secure a seat in the upcoming the election in 2 years from now. Of course, he wants to get back in to be a power player again. The people of Bordentown, where's that, East, will have to make that decision. And again, I think it will come down to what the viable options are. So some of y'all better dust off your shoes and start deciding that you're going to run for elected office. Things are getting a little bit heated and interesting. In Cayman Brac, for example, we already know that Madam Juliana O'Connor Connolly, which she formally announced last night, will not be running for political office. So this was the most interesting development from that meeting, I must say. I'm not going to play any more of Chris Saunders' clips because, quite honestly, I'm not going to give him the attention this morning. Let me just see if I can pull up the clip here from Madam Juliana, and then we'll have a look at the accident that's up in Breakers as well. Okay, let me see here now. Yes, okay, here she is.
Now, it's been my privilege to be given for the second consecutive time the responsibility of education. And I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, God spares my life. I intend to exit the political stage in 2 years' time. But God being my helper, I dare to believe that it's going to be left in a much better state so that when your children graduate, they just won't be upward promotion and upward mobility with a piece of paper, but that paper will be able to stand up anywhere in the world, heads and shoulders with anyone in the world, and to be able to demand a job anywhere in the world. And that is what our modus operandi is in the PAC government, and I'm sure across the way.
All right, Madam Deputy Premier, we'll see. We're hopeful that it'll be left in a better condition, but we will certainly see. It's interesting that she uses a term that Caymanians will be in a position to demand a job. Let me be very clear with all of you. You can't go anywhere in the world anymore and demand a job. The competition is stiff, no matter which country you're in. I have 3 messages just this morning alone on social media where people are messaging me, begging for me to help them find jobs. One person says they're a makeup artist, a wig maker, this long list of stuff. And I was like, honey child, this is not a job. They said, good day, sir or madam. I'm a 24-year-old citizen of Cameroon looking for a temporary or permanent job in Cayman. I'm skilled and licensed makeup artist, makeup hairstylist, braider, wig making. My Instagram account is so-and-so, and I'm open to other jobs too. And I say, my best advice is to locate someone who's hiring that can assist you in that regard. And then they say, I don't know if you can help me recommend. And I've been searching for a long time. And we had to remind them we're not really in the job placement business. That was one. The next one says, bro, is there any way to get a job in Cayman Island? And I said, look for someone who's hiring. Next person messaged and said, this was Tyrone. Now Tyrone says, I'd love to join your company. And I had to tell Tyrone that we're not hiring. So there are people all over the world, folks, who are looking for jobs, especially as the economy becomes a little bit more restricted. The competition becomes stiffer. So don't let anyone, politician or otherwise, tell you that you can go out there demanding anything, even with all the qualifications in the world. And I can assure you that a high school diploma ain't cutting it. You have to be prepared to have a trade skill, a technical skill, experience, something to be able, and the right attitude, most importantly, to be able to get your foot through the door. So a little bit later on in the program, we're going to be talking about hospitality. And we spoke yesterday briefly with Miss Diane Connolly and a young man named Xavier over at the DART organization, as they're now launching their hospitality training program. And this is going to be open to 15 individuals. Make sure you stay tuned for that interview, because it's really important for our people to take advantage of opportunities that are presented. But you've got to go in there with the right attitude and, the desire to get it done. So Alejandro says he thought it was an excellent meeting. I'm curious, Alejandro, were you there in person? Like I said, I wasn't there, so that's good feedback. Good morning to Miss Dean. Cora says, I'm sitting here thinking that you need to throw your hat in the ring one more time. We do need more women in parliament, and you'd be the ideal one for us to have. Well, Cora, short of never say never, because I don't believe you should ever say never. Never and always, in these exclusive terms, I don't ever believe in using, but it would probably have to be something short of a real miracle for me to even consider that option. And there are numerous reasons why. The first one really is I don't have to, in the sense that I already do so much. The only thing that I don't do right now is change legislation. And I think that we can even impact that. We can impact how our legislators are looking at different legislation that they need to change. But let's be really, really honest. the amazing opportunity and to engage with you all, to get the pulse of the community, to stay in touch with you, to really represent the people's voice is something that I feel like I would lose, in fact, if I were an elected official, because they all make you these promises before they get in there that they're going to continue to do all those things. And then the majority of the time, they don't actually deliver. You know, I'm here with you guys every single day, Monday to Friday, and on weekends, a little bit of part-time, making sure that I'm addressing your issues and we're talking about what matters most to the people of the Cayman Islands. This morning, we're going to talk about, for example, a rogue police officer who runs right through, you know, a bus that's parked trying to let her kids off. How does that happen in the Cayman Islands? These are real issues. Some are smaller issues that can be easily fixed. Some are larger issues, corruption at government levels, potentially, you know, improvements in the civil service and so on. You know, those are things that we get to talk about. And I get to speak with very little restraints. I just speak the truth. Yeah. Can I do that for a politician? Not so much so. And most importantly, I do it without fear or favor. And to me, that's really, really critical because as a politician, you're always looking for votes. So sometimes you might want to tell that young lady who calls you every single week for a phone card, a grocery voucher. That young lady, you know, this is like the 5th time every single month you need a grocery voucher. Let me assist you in finding a job, because what you actually need is a job so that you can be self-sustainable. And by the way, also allow me to introduce you to something called birth control so that you can stop having children that you cannot afford. You know, politicians should be having these real life conversations with people, as real as it gets, but they're not really in a position to do that because, oh my gosh, I need this person to vote for me. They're going to get on social media and they're going to say something bad about me. And that's 5 people in their household. You see, I don't have those restrictions, Ms. Cora. I don't have to care about any of that, to be quite frank and honest. And then there are other things in terms of my family life. You know, I do help people all the time. I'm getting messages and phone calls, but I can actually put down the phone. And I've started doing this at night in particular after a certain hour. Unless it's an emergency, I am not answering the phone, and I'm likely only going to respond to WhatsApp messages that I'll look at whatever it is you're sending me at a later date, tomorrow or whatever. So, you know, I'm not seeing a whole lot of benefit for me to get to throw my hat in the political arena, because I think I'm in a very unique position that affords me the ability to help people in a real way. And here's the best part. When I call out anybody, government, private sector, trust me, things get fixed immediately, things get done. And, you know, politicians can't do that. They can't call out the civil service because then it's like a conflict of interest. And what are you doing? And, ooh, honey child, I don't see any benefits to running. But Johan says, Auntie Sandy, if minister or any other political group or hosts a meeting, he's entitled to invite or ask whomever he wishes to speak on the platform. Just like if you have a FET or event, you can invite anyone to choose. Yes, you can. That's his choice. No one is saying that the minister couldn't invite the former deputy premier. I was just curious to know whether or not he was conscious or he thought about how the victims of the alleged sexual harassment by the previous deputy premier would be feeling when they see him continuing to embrace the situation. And listen, Kenneth has made it very, very clear that he is riding with Chris Saunders no matter what. He was in another program a couple of days ago where, you know, he said the whole thing was unfortunate, but he is still very much in Chris's camp. So good for him. The people of the Cayman Islands will have to decide whether or not that matters to them come election time in 2 years. All right, we've got some guests in the studio for a little bit this morning. Joining us now, Taste of Cayman, folks, is right around the corner. If you've not gotten your tickets yet, may I just ask the question, what are you waiting on? Honey child, get up and get out there. Grab your tickets. This is an amazing opportunity to taste some wonderful cuisine from a number of restaurants all across the island. And of course, we've got the heavy cake competition. We've got Cayman style beef. We're going to have some cultural events, and we've got some breaking announcements to make here this morning. So let's go ahead and pull in our guests right now. We've got Jay Ahart, who is director of the Cayman Islands Tourism Association. Good morning, Mr. Jay. How you doing?
Good morning. How we doing?
How are you? Yeah, very good. All right.
It's 8
So
o'clock
good
in
to
the
see
morning,
you.
and I'm having a good time.
Yes, absolutely. And we also have Miss Maureen. Now, Maureen, you have to forgive me if I get the name wrong, but is it Cuban?
It's Cubbin. Close.
Cubbin.
Cubbin.
There
You
we
got
go.
it.
Cubbin.
Yes.
And she
Hi,
is
Karen.
culinary director, Best Life and Zest. And Maureen has taught my little one at 6 years old how to make little pizzas and other stuff at school. So, Maureen, it's so great to have you on here. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so Jay, you're getting excited, I'm sure. We are about less than a month out now from this amazing Taste of Cayman event. The big news this morning is that you guys actually have a sizzling, like really new sponsor. So tell us a little bit about this official presenter of the Taste of Cayman 2023. Who's joining as a sponsor?
Yeah, Department of Tourism has joined us this year as a big-time sponsor, and we can't thank them enough. They're helping us bring down some international chefs from Canada and the United States, and they really stepped up to the plate. They realized that the showcase that the Taste of Cayman has really amplifies that we're the culinary capital of the Caribbean, and that's what they've tried to get across to all of their guests and all of our visitors that come to the Cayman Islands. It's really hard to find a bad meal any restaurant you go to on this island. I mean, you have to have a really, really bad experience to find a bad meal in Cayman. And that's what's so great about Cayman is that we are the culinary capital of the Caribbean. And Taste of Cayman is the showcase of that, 100%.
Absolutely. So yeah, this is fantastic. So congratulations to the government. Visit Cayman Islands has jumped in on this. And
we
in
love them.
addition
They're
to that,
fantastic.
yes. In addition to that, we've also got some celebrity chefs that are going to be coming to actually participate. So
yeah,
Maureen,
very excited.
You're a chef yourself, so this is pretty exciting news. So tell us a little bit, Jay and Maureen, about some of the exciting talent that is actually going to be coming. We've got Canada's Top Chef winner, Food Network Sandwich King host. I mean, this is pretty special.
It is, and Mo, I know you want to talk about that, and I know. Did you meet Trey when he was down here, by the way?
No, I didn't have a chance to. I don't even think I was here, but I mean, I'm originally Canadian, but you know, I mean, he's definitely high on my radar of someone that I've admired and watched in competition. So I mean, personally, I'm super excited, but also just from a point of view that, you know, Taste of Cayman is back now, you know, like it's been years, and it just, it's the energy around it is pretty cool. You know, like we got a lot of different restaurants now in Cayman. We've got new people on board, and I think it's going to be a really great festival to show off what it is that people have persevered through and worked hard through COVID. But also, you know, just looking at bringing everyone together through food. I mean, food is a love language, right? So I think it's fantastic that we can bring everyone together for it. So yeah.
I mean, we're really, really lucky to have Trey. His name is Trey Sanders. He's the Top Chef winner for Canada. They actually came down and filmed a few episodes also through the Department of Tourism Canada to come here and film a few episodes. So he's been to Cayman before, and he was very excited to take part and be part of this again. He's a first-generation Canadian with Jamaican roots, and he's inspired by the Caribbean heritage and infuses that into all of his meals that he makes. But he's such a super nice guy. And I think I can't let this out of the bag right now. We're going to have two of Canada's top TV chefs, Trey Sanderson and Dylan Benoit, doing a demo at Taste of Cayman together. So Dylan Benoit is a local entrepreneur and restaurant owner. You know, he's carnivore in Cayman Bay. He's also the host of a show called Fire Masters in Canada. And so we've got two TV chefs from Canada duking it out on the stage at Taste of Cayman. You don't want to miss it. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Yeah, but that's breaking news, by the way. No one knows that. We haven't even.
Hey, we love breaking news and the cold hard truth. Here's this young man. Here he is, working his magic.
Super nice guy.
Working his magic in the kitchen, and yes, very, very good. So that'll be awesome to see him and the other celebrity chef working along with him as well.
So stay tuned, Sam. I'm going to let something else out of the bag here right now. We're working right now with to partner with a restaurant. We've got it in the works. It's just we're not quite ready to announce whom and where, but there'll be a celebrity dinner with Trey at one of the restaurants on Friday night before Taste of Cayman. So buy your tickets and do that, and go out and try his food, and he'll partner with a local chef here as well. So that'll happen.
Make sure I get an invite, Jay. That's all I'm saying.
We're just putting the dots on the I's and crossing the T's and doing those things right now. And we'll be able to listen for more coming up in the coming week or so. That will be announced where and when and how much and all of that stuff. Should be a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, that sounds exciting.
Oh yeah,
you guys know I'm a foodie, so I love to hear these things.
We really just
tell us a little bit about Jeff as well, because Jeff has an amazing reputation, for all the.
He also is that Cayman connection. He and Luigi Moxham are great friends, and he's been to Cayman many times. And so it was a natural fit to get Jeff involved with this, and he's a super nice guy as well. He has spent years cooking, and he's, as you said, season 7 of the Food Network star. He's got his own show, the Sandwich King, which is Emmy nominated. He's the host of 3-time Emmy nominated The Kitchen, now in its 34th season, and is a recurring co-host on the Food Network's primetime show, Worst Cooks in America, which he will not find in Cayman.
Oh my gosh. We need to have an episode of that here. People who can't boil water. Although I must say it's probably going to be very, very difficult to find the worst chefs in Cayman, because Cayman has a lot of amazing, both professional and semi-professional, and just people at home know how to throw down and how to cook. So this is really going to be exciting.
I remember when Mo was first trying out for the Cayman Cook-Off in the thing, and you were a great chef at home, but you never really had done it professionally or gone into doing something like that. And I remember how nervous you were then too.
Oh my gosh!
But look at you now.
Look at me now. What can I say? Just a little perseverance and passion, right? That's what they say. So,
So, Maureen, you're going to be in charge of managing all the activities and demos happening in the Bon Vivant demo stage. So, tell us a little bit about what we can expect.
In charge. That sounds very scary. I'll be hanging out on stage with all my fellow colleagues, which will be good. So I've been a part of Taste of Cayman from the beginning. I've been really excited to be a part of, and working with my good friends at Bon Vivant. And this year will be a little bit different. I usually, from the stage presence point of view, I always start Taste of Cayman off with our kids' culinary demo, which I love. Sandy, as you know, I'm sure Gigi has told you, how much fun we have when we all cook together. So we start off with a kids culinary demo. So we invite, and it starts early. So as soon as Taste of Cayman starts off, we invite some kids to come on stage with me, and then we just roll up our sleeves and put together a really fun, healthy, mindful meal or snack together, and they can help me prepare it, and then they get to have a little taste. And so that kind of integrates kids into the cooking process, but also, just gives them an idea. We try to use as much local ingredients as possible, so it absolutely highlights what we have here in Cayman, and it gives kids a sense of ownership about getting involved in preparing their foods and getting, interested in actually eating outside their comfort zone. So that's a great way for us to start off Taste of Cayman, and it's always super fun. So if you're coming and you've got little ones that would be interested in even just coming on the stage and helping out or chopping or just being around that atmosphere, you can come see me in the beginning and we'll sort that out. So that'll be fun. And then we roll into the 2 competitions that Jay talked about earlier. And one of them is like a celebrity chef cook-off. And we were going to have 2 local chefs oversee and sort of pair up with the celebrity chefs as they do this cook-off on stage. So more details to come on that.
Next time, Sandra. I'll tell you who the local celebrities are next time.
I think I might have an idea of one of them for sure, but yes.
Thank you. Ooh,
really?
We'll keep it under wraps for now.
Okay, all right.
Off air and let me know.
There you go.
All right, sounds good.
So we've got a couple of really talented local chefs that also will be paired up with them. So it's a kind of friendly competition. We won't give too much information out on that, but it's going to be quite fun. From like a mystery basket point of view. So we'll be emulating a little bit of that Food Network vibe. And then, as Jay said, the Fire Masters versus Top Chef competition, that's going to be super fun too. Both guys are awesome, and they both have a vested interest in Caribbean culinary and Cayman and all of that. So I think all of those things are going to come together really well. Also heavy cake competition and Cayman style beef competition. absolutely one of my favorite things in Taste of Cayman because I get to try it all. But anyone, I would encourage anyone who has an interest or thinks they have a stellar recipe or even a half good recipe or their grandma's recipe or whatever, I recommend you to enter the competition. That's, even if you've got a little competitive streak in you or you just want to show off a little bit, enter the competition. It's super fun to be a part of. The process is great. And so the winners of those competitions will also be announced. And then it rounds up with the 7 Fathoms Rum mixology competition, which is also a lot of fun to watch too. So the stage is sort of in the heart of everything, and people can come and go and check in, and I'll be there with the team from Bon Vivant on that beautiful demo stage that demo studio that they've given us, which is wonderful. And we'll just be having lots of fun. So, outside of the eating part of it and the entertainment part of it, make sure you come by and see us on stage.
Fantastic. All right. So that's a definite stop for anyone, I think, who is going to be attending Taste of Cayman. And we talked about the 2 top chefs that are definitely going to be there. So give us a little bit more information, Jay, on, as we're getting closer, the ticket venues, so that people can just be reminded in case they don't have their tickets already, where they can go and get some tickets now as well.
Yeah, not a problem. And just if you want to enter the competitions that Mo was just talking about, go to taste@tower.com.ky. That's the email address, taste@tower.com.ky. Just if you're interested in doing that. So that's how you register for that.
Yes.
But tickets, general admission are $60. It's a great deal. And the VIP is $225. And of course, this year we're going to have the wristbands. So there's no tickets. You're not going to feel like you're at a county fair or anything like that with hundreds of tickets. And it should cut down on the lines 100%. There should be very little waiting in line. You could top up those wristbands through your phone, or you could cash. There'll be a booth that you can go to with cash and top it up right then and there.
Yeah, I love that.
It's going to be fantastic. It really is going to hopefully smooth the way 100% for everything.
Yeah.
But you can get your tickets at tasteofcayman.org. That's the best outlet to go online to find it. You can also go to EventPros, which is also a great sponsor, and we're very thankful for them. All Blackbeard's locations, Funky Tangs, and any company with a supply in the name of it. Diver Supply, Sport Supply, Office Supply, and of course, Bon Vivant. You go there and get their tickets there. Cindy's got them selling there too, so that's great. But I got to tell you, I can't tell you enough about the VIP. It is the Ritz-Carlton, the St. June by the Ritz-Carlton, which is their beach bar, is hosting the VIP tent. So you're going to get canopies when you walk in. You're going to get a welcome cocktail, but then you also get the priority entry, the express parking. You get VIP bathrooms, one free experience in the experience room, and of course you got special main stage viewing for our concert act at the end of the night.
Nice.
Yeah,
the VIP tickets, just the parking alone makes the VIP section.
I was just going to say, friend, I'll pop in here for the VIP section too, because the experience rooms, I've been able to be a part of them, and also, from the back and the front. And it's just really cool. We've got some amazing, talented people who are going to be a part of it. And it almost feels like you're in this sort of your own little staged area. And it is very inclusive, and it feels like you're on your little cooking demo. So anyone who's ever been lucky enough to go to any food festivals overseas would kind of know what I'm talking about. So there's these sort of smaller, little, more intimate areas where you really get hands-on. You get the food, you get to talk to the chefs. So it's really cool. And for those who haven't, it's a really nice experience. And, honestly, for the price, the amount of tickets and the drinks and everything you get, I think it's really good. I think so. Yeah. If it's something that you're interested in doing and having that elevated food experience here in Cayman, I think it's very affordable compared to some other things that maybe have been offered. I feel like that it's definitely
it's a good deal. It's a good deal.
Absolutely.
So, folks.
Yeah. And Jeff Morrow will be doing one of the demos in the experience room. So that's awesome.
Oh, nice.
So you get a chance to go and see him up close and personal, see what he's all about, see him make whatever he's going to be doing. I don't know 100% what that is yet, but whatever he's going to be doing, it's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah. So, folks, if you're just tuning in, you're just joining us, Taste of Cayman Food and Drink Festival, the longest running and best, in my opinion, food and drink festival here in the Cayman Islands, celebrating some 35 years. Oh my gosh, has it been that long?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It has. I I seem to remember volunteering for my first taste that came in like 1997 or 8.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Yes.
I remember those volunteer days. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it when it was at the other venues and stuff, but now it's going to be at Cayman Bay. Nice space, lots and lots of room for all of the restaurants and stage setup, and the venue is going to be amazing.
I was looking through some old pictures through our files here at the CITA, because the Cayman Islands Tourism Association puts on the Taste of Cayman. It's our number one fundraiser for us. And I realized it was at the port for a couple of years, and I forgot all about those years.
Oh, really?
It was right in the center of the port area, and I totally forgot about those years. And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, that was before my time, I think.
We've gone from that little field that's right next to the Ritz-Carlton in between
I remember that.
To the
I remember that
location. Center of Cayman Bay, into the town center of Cayman Bay, and now the final home. And I think it's going to be there for a long time at the Festival of the Green.
Festival of the Green. Yep, absolutely beautiful. So, folks, the event is May the 13th from 5 p.m. until 11:45. So make sure you know the location, the Festival Green at Cayman Bay. As we get a little bit closer to the date, we're going to do like a walkthrough video. We'll show you guys, where parking is and where the venue is, so you'll know exactly where to go. I'm excited about the technology that's being deployed this year with the high-tech wristbands, the ability to just order and top up right from your phone. I think it's going to be amazing. So make sure you get your tickets early. And this is really exciting.
The great thing is, as Mo mentioned, it's great for the whole family. I mean, the kids' prices, and that's something we consciously thought about. I didn't mention the children's prices, but we did not raise the children's prices this year at all. Through all of the cost of living increases that we've seen, the cost of food prices, all of those things that have affected us since we've held this event in 2019, the last time, we said, no, kids need to stay inexpensive. So it's only $20 for a child for general admission, and it's $50 for VIP. So we thought, you know what, it's expensive to live in Cayman. Everybody knows it. It's expensive to do these events, but we just need to make sure that the kids can take part, and it can be economical for the kids to come and take part.
Wonderful. All right. Can we give away a ticket? I don't think I have approval, but can we just give away a ticket today?
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
Why not? We'll give away a couple. Let's give away 2 general admission. How's that?
Oh la la! This is good stuff. Let me get the phone lines ready.
Look at you go! I like that. Sure, why not? It's Friday, right?
So listen, if you've been half paying attention, this should be relatively easy. But we'll do 2 separate winners. Jay, can we do 2?
Whatever you want. Sure, 2 separate winners. Let's do that.
All right. So I need at least 5. There's more than that. Locations where you can purchase a ticket. So again, question is, where can you purchase tickets for the return of Taste of Cayman 2023? 936-2626. You got to call it in. 936 Bobo is the telephone number. Answer that question. Give me 5 locations, way more than 5, of where you can actually purchase tickets, and you will get a free ticket this morning.
Awesome.
So who's been paying attention?
Let's see.
Yes, I
think
know.
The information could be found.
People are
online.
like, oh my gosh, 1, 2, 3. They're like counting in their head.
Counting my head too.
Yeah. I think they can find this info online if they wish.
All right, caller, good morning. You're going to try your luck?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
It's an educated guess.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Funky Time. CMS.
Oh, no. Nope, not on my list. Sorry. All right. Caller, good morning. Your guess is 5. Give me 5. Uh-oh. I think that one, gosh. The calls are coming in fast. All right, caller, good morning. 5
Funky
locations.
Funky Tanks, Diverse Supply, Sports Supply, Office Supply, Bond VM, and Batbeard.
But yes, you gave us 6. Good job. Congratulations. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me just take down your number here for the winner. So we can make sure that we got your, oh gosh, the phone lines are just ringing off now. Yeah, hold on a second. We're coming with question number 2. Your number ends in 6408. All right. So we're going to have someone get in contact with you for your ticket. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All righty. So, folks, you just got to pay attention on the program and you can win. I see more people calling. Give me a second. Let me get to our next question. All right. So we talked about 2 celebrity chefs that are coming, right? 2 of them. Now, I'm not going to ask you for names because if you're like me and you're really bad with names, you've already forgotten their names. But tell me 2 things. You can pick either chef. It doesn't really matter. Tell me 2 things about them. Like, what are they known for? What kind of show do they have?
Wow, these are good questions, man. I thought these would be easy. Boy, okay.
Good morning, caller. 2 facts about any of the celebrity guests that are going to be coming.
One has hosted the kitchen for 35 years, and the other is the Sandwich King.
Yes, very good. Congratulations. You have won a general admission ticket. Let me just take down your number. Hold on 1 second here.
That's impressive. I'm impressed. Way to go.
Yes, no, our listeners pay attention.
Your listeners are listening. Your listeners are listening. That's what I like.
So congratulations, sir. I will see you at Taste of Cayman.
Thank you.
All right, fantastic. So we've already got a winner, folks. I see tons more of you are still calling in, but we already have a winner. So make sure you listen for the next time that the Taste of Cayman guests are going to be on the program because we'll give away some more tickets.
I like that. I like that a lot.
That's fun.
Yeah. So congratulations, Siobhan, wishing everyone congratulations. So this is fantastic. So folks, we've got the Bon Vivant demo stage lineup. Maureen's going to be in charge of that. That's going to include a kids class led by Mo herself, celebrity amateur chef cook-off. Again, each are going to be shadowed by a local pro chef, and more information will be coming in terms of that. We're going to have the winners of the Cayman style beef and heavy cake competitions being announced at the demo stage there as well. We've got top chefs versus fire masters. Inspired chefs go and do a little face off. Ooh, that's going to be hot. Between Top Chef Canada, Trey Sanderson, and Fire Master Chef Dylan. Is it Benoit? Benoit. French. Who's also the chef at local Cayman restaurant Carnivore. Ooh, Carnivore has such good food. Oh my gosh.
It does. And they just launched Bar Carnivore, which is like this fun little vibe. And if you haven't gone yet, Sandy, you need to go. It's really lovely.
Wow. Yeah. So we do have a caller. Caller, good morning.
Good morning. Did you get a winner?
We sure did.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, next time.
Okay.
All righty. Yeah, people still trying to win some tickets. And 7 Fathoms Rum Mixology competition is going to be going on there as well. So Jay, without your sponsors, I'm sure this event would not be possible. So let's give a shout out to all of the amazing sponsors that have come on board.
No, we do love them, and we couldn't do this. I mean, this event takes months and months and months of planning and a lot of effort. So really appreciate AI Rentals, Cayman and Bay, and the folks at DMS Broadcasting are fantastic, as you know there, Sandra. The Ministry in Investment, Innovation, and Special Development, the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage, of course, St. June at the Ritz-Carlton, of you guys right there, Cayman Mall Road, of course, Logic, Tower Marketing, and of course, the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism. Wouldn't be able to do it without them as well. Big thank you to those guys over there. My old team, and they're the great people to work with, and I'm so happy they're involved.
All right. Now, Jay, remind me, when did you become director of CETA?
So I got here in 2019, just after in the end of 2019. So I missed. This will be my first taste of Cayman.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, this is my first taste of Cayman as the CETA executive director. But obviously, I've been to. I can't count how many I've been to as a volunteer and helped out and so on and so on. So I know what it's supposed to be at, and I know this one's going to be bigger and better. I just know it.
Absolutely. No, it's going to be amazing. And every post-COVID event, people have really been engaged in because we missed amazing events like this. So make sure, folks, again, go out, get your tickets early. We had 2 very fortunate winners who were paying attention to the program this morning, score some tickets. But, take the kids, take the husband, take the boyfriend, take granny, auntie, everybody out, because this is a family-friendly event with lots of activities. I mean, listen, there's always fun stuff for the kids to do. My daughter enjoyed it the last time that she went. Now she's becoming a little bit more of a foodie, as Mo knows. So I know she's going to be all into it this year.
She is, yeah. And I think, like I said, it's a fun family thing to come to. but let's not forget the entertainment too, right? So the last Taste of Cayman we had, my mom was here, and she and a colleague's mom was here, so we just let them loose, and she had the best time, and she's obsessed with Michael Jackson. So they had that was the year of the Michael Jackson impersonator. I lost her. Like, she was out, she had a drink in hand, she had and she had food, and she was like, oh my God, this is wonderful. So it's an amazing event locally, but it is something that rivals anything overseas. So, I think it's amazing to be able to be a part of it here. It's going to be so much fun. Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. All right, folks. So again, some big announcements coming out of Taste of Cayman. Really revving up. The excitement is listen, it's getting there, and I'm excited. I will definitely be there and invite all of you guys to come out. We'll have more information. I know Jay is coming with probably another guest. They're going to be joining us, and we'll be giving you guys some little insight, some behind the scenes stuff, so you can kind of see what's going on with the preparations. Jay?
We know that there's a lot of things going on in the next couple of weeks, and we know that the money is tight and everything costs more. But if you're going to go to one event in the next couple of weeks, this is the event you want to go to. I guarantee it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. That's been Maureen and Jay joining us.
Thank you.
We'll
see you then.
Yes, we are totally getting excited. Stay tuned for these few messages.
Get your taste buds ready, because Taste of Cayman is back. Join us May 13th at Festival Green, Camana Bay. Eat, drink, and dance the night away. Taste of Cayman offers the very best of Cayman's food and drink scene, with plenty of music to keep the party going. Get your festival tickets online today at tasteofcayman.org or call 623-6700. Brought to you by the Cayman Islands Tourism Association and sponsored by AI Rentals, Camana Bay, DMS Broadcasting, and numerous valued partners.
All right, folks, that is it. Taste of Cayman. Don't you miss it now, honey child. Get your tickets and get them early. I'm excited. I will, like I said, most definitely be there. I'm still trying to decide if I want to go into the competition. I'm not so much the Cayman beef competition, but the heavy cake. I'm still kind of thinking about it. Seeing if my special version of custard top can stand up to some competition. And I know the competition's always stiff, folks. Some real Cayman chefs come out and throw their hat in the ring for that segment. So I'll see. I'll think about it. I don't know. I like to just go and enjoy. I'm just there for the food. Let me be very honest. I'm just there for the food and entertainment, and I want to see the demo booth with Mo, and I'm just gonna be kicking back and relaxing. Cece, good morning. She's looking for introduction to who? Jay? You looking for a job at Taste of Cayman, or you want to be a celebrity chef, or what? Message me, because I'm not quite sure. Louis joining us from Detroit says, good morning, Sandra and the CMR Nation at home and abroad. Yes, we are big and broad and all over the world, CMR fans, and I say family because we really are like family here, folks. Everton, good morning. I don't know what this is about Bank of America, Wells Fargo. What is that? One bank. Yay, I win. I'm not quite sure what that comment is about. Miss Venice in the house, talking about politics a little bit. She says the more that they can keep people on handouts, the more that, they get them to vote. You know what is so funny, though? I'll be honest with you, quite frankly, I don't even know if that works like how it used to, because these people be getting handouts from you and they still don't vote for you. You be wasting your money. And I must say that I don't blame them. I don't think they should take handouts. But, if someone is trying to buy your vote, don't make them buy it. Don't make them buy it. Because like I said, they buy your vote, they're going to sell you down the river cheaper. Aliano says we need a 6-year moratorium and freezing process for work permits for entry-level employment. I'm going to be honest with you, Aliano. I know that sounds enticing, but before you make that kind of decision, this is where evidence and numbers really matter. Before you because politically, you see, this is the difference, Miss Cora. I hope you're still with us this morning. This is the difference between me and politicians. Like, politicians will say, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. No more work permits. They've said it in the past and they've never done it. First of all, because it's impossible to do something like that, to say no more work permits in the Cayman Islands, no more work permits for entry-level jobs. Politically, that might sound like a good idea. From a practical perspective, that is suicide, okay? And this is why I try not to get emotive, even about the hiring of Caymanians in the workplace. Sometimes I have gotten a little bit emotional if I see obvious wrongdoing occurring, but a lot of times there is much more to it than that. And I need evidence. I need the evidence to show me where, okay? Show me the numbers, to refer to the ESO statistics, the last survey that they did. Show me the numbers that would support that. And you know what numbers I'm looking for? How many Caymanians are interested and unemployed in entry-level employment? That would be my first question to you. Because you could be putting a hiring freeze in an entire category of work permit holder that then, it doesn't make any sense. The evidence doesn't support that that's going to help Caymanians in any way, shape, or form. If it's not something that is going to help Caymanians, then what is the point of doing it? Just because it sounds good politically, right? The other thing with these so-called hiring freezes is you put them in place, and then what happens? Those are going to be small Caymanian businesses, a lot of times, that are relying on entry-level work permits and entry-level positions. And a lot of them, quite honestly, do their best to really try to find Caymanians who are interested. And it ain't easy, honey child. Let me be very clear with you. Unless you are an employer and you're on the other side of the equation, right? You hear Caymanians claiming that they're out there and they need jobs and they're really looking and this, that, and the next thing. And when you put them to the test, a lot of them are not looking. They would rather live off of NAU and smoke pot all day and drink and hang out with their friends. Some of them, when you say, okay, let me have a look at your resume, the resume leaves a lot to be desired. Or they've been out there flip-flopping from one job to the next, and an employer has to seriously consider, hold on a second now, is this person going to bring any real value to my organization, or am I going to waste time, resources, and energy training them only to then have them turn around and leave my business? These are some of the real world implications, folks, and things that people really have to think about. And I got to be honest with you, it is disheartening, to say the least, when you put a lot of effort into training someone and bringing them on board, as we say in the HR world, onboarding them, and then they turn around a couple of weeks later, they're going to jump up and leave the job. And now you have to try to find somebody else to train, and the process starts all over again. It's challenging. I know everyone thinks that they have all the solutions and all the answers. But all I'll say is that it can be very, very disheartening and challenging, when this happens. So I'm not really an all or nothing kind of person. Honestly, I've seen where it just doesn't work. All right, so Alejandro says that he was there last night with his daughter, slept through all the horns. I try not to take my child out to these meetings if I can, because she needs to be home reading her book and resting. But he also says, or teach abstinence better than birth control to bloat her up. That would be wonderful. Wonderful, Alejandro. I'm all about abstinence, except I know it don't work. You see, again, I'm a very practical person. I grew up in the church, right? I understand the concept of abstinence, but look at how many of our young people are sexually active in their churches. And because they're being told abstain, 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 you're not teaching them anything really about sex education. Some of them are being sexually molested and abused. And so that means that they are more than likely going to start sexual activity earlier than they should be. You've got to be practical. So give people options. Oh, absence is an option. Is it a practical one for most of these young people? Probably not. Teach it to them anyway, so they can have a think about it. And they have to understand the maturity that comes with the implications that come with having sex. Is a very mature decision, and no child, no one who's underage. But I'm not speaking about underage people when I made that comment earlier. I'm talking about people in their 20s who still shouldn't be having children. You're technically an adult, although your brain is still developing up to 25, but you're technically an adult. But believe me, if you're 25 or 30 and you got 5 children, you need to stop. You're done. Tie off the tubes, encourage the man to get a vasectomy. I know y'all men don't want to hear that, but we need some permanent birth control solutions. So this isn't about birth control to bloat her up. This is about women educating themselves about the finances of having children and how you can't afford children. In this day and age, you can barely afford 2. And if you're going over that threshold, I think you need to think carefully about whether or not you can afford to do so. And affording to do so just isn't about, money. It's also about the time, the quality time that you're going to spend raising your children to ensure that they're going to be, beautiful contributors to our Caymanian community. It always seems to me that the people who are less prepared to have children are the ones who always have the most. It is what it is. See, that's a comment now. I know some of y'all sitting back going, oh my God, I can't believe Sandy just said that. Honey, chill. She's offending people. You see, that's why I'm not a politician, because I don't care if you get offended by that comment, because it is the truth. Good morning to Miss Bonnie, joining us in the beautiful district of East End. John Levy, let's see who else we got. CC says a lot of them don't want no work. Facts, Sandy. I know. So Aliano says never called for complete elimination, just a slowdown process every 6 years. But based on what, Aliano? If the economy is growing, you would expect to see an upward trend of actually having more work permits. Businesses are growing, small businesses are starting up, businesses are expanding. I think what they need to do, where they need to focus a lot of their energy and efforts, is in these fraudulent work permits where there's actually no work for individuals. So focus on all these janitorial companies, construction companies, landscaping companies who don't crack down more on those who are taking out work permits and don't have work for Caymanian or non-Caymanian, but they're introducing Caymanian foreign workers into the work pool who don't actually have a job. And then those foreign workers are paying for their own work permits. They're being abused and taken advantage of. And they're also out there hustling, sometimes illegally, getting involved in gambling, prostitution, and other illegal activity. Or some are trying to find another legitimate side hustle. That's where they could do a lot of work. But I challenge you to show me the evidence that actually supports where this is necessary. Right now, we see that the government has put a pause on the previous deputy premier's push to introduce temporary work permits, the job advertising requirement for temporary work permits. You know why that was put on pause? Because there's no evidence to support that it's going to help anything. Why burden the system with additional red tape and processes when you cannot show, you cannot demonstrate based on these numbers, this is what we're going to curtail. This is an issue that we're going to address. We have the data to back up why this then decision is required. We need to stop making decisions just because in our brain we think on the face of it they sound good. Make decisions that can be backed up by data, that you can say, the numbers show that this is a problem. And so therefore, this is one solution that we're going to try. Because again, what ended up happening is small and medium-sized businesses reached out to the government and said, hello, do you guys understand the burden that we're already under? And now you're going to burden us even more for a temporary work permit? And is that going to solve the problem? What problem are they trying to solve? Right? So you've got to really, I think, dig beneath the surface to get some of these some of these questions answered. Just saying. Yes, honey child. Hold on one second now. I'm gonna pull up the video here. So listen, there is a lot that can be done. Cindy says her motto is hear them out, eat them out, use them, then vote them out. Oh, Lord, Cindy. I'm not so sure that should be your motto either, but okay. Woo, honey child, you cracks me up. I don't know what to say about you. But let me just say that I don't know, Cindy. Something might be wrong with that formula. But let me just say that, when private organizations step up to the plate, folks, and they start to do their part, we have to be supportive of them and supportive of these initiatives. So I was really tickled pink to see the DART organization doing this. I had some notes, but I think the piece of paper is out in the kitchen. Child, when I walk into my house, I'm carrying my bags. And if you know me, everybody's like, Sandy's the bag lady. I always have my laptop bag. Sometimes I have a handbag. It just depends on what mood I'm in. And then, I am, all right, let me just, this one is, I'm just getting this video ready for you guys. And then other times I carrying Gianna's bags, lunch bags, swimming bag, this bag. Shall I be walking around with all kind of stuff? And yesterday I walked through the door and I was loaded with bags. I felt like I had so much stuff in my hand. And so I know I had a piece of paper in my hand in relation to this, but I think I've left it. But let me show you guys this. I want you guys to listen to this interview that we did yesterday with some members of the DART organization. So listen, we say to these companies, get your act together. Yes, we want you guys to hire Caymanians. We want you guys to do a better job. And Caymanians, y'all need to get your act together too. See, this is a two-way street, right? I can never, try to lambast an employer who's making a genuine effort when I know that Caymanians are out there being less than exemplary workers. This isn't the 1980s when you could leave a job today and by tomorrow you could be in another job, and you could do that for like 6 months at a time. You could not show up after every public holiday. There's still people in this community who after public holidays, the one day off isn't enough for them. They call in sick after every single public holiday. Do you know the burden that places on small and medium-sized and even larger organizations? And there are Caymanians who don't care because they think that the only requirement to have a job is that they be a Caymanian. And that's not true. So when I see an organization like the DART organization, I know some of y'all love to hate on these people, but when we see that they are finally stepping up to the plate and doing their part, we have to give them credit. We have to say, you know what? Hats off to them. They're trying. Have a look at this interview. Let me just see. Oh, this person says not to mention the loss of revenue for the permits. Well, let me be very, very frank. I am not concerned about revenue for work permits. Government may or may not be concerned about that. A lot of people feel like there's a conflict because government does get quite a bit of revenue from work permits. So how can they ever really push for Caymanians in the workplace? To me, that's neither here nor there. Government has different streams of revenue. The work permit one is not the only option. So if we have a situation that there's a genuine need to make immigration reform and make immigration changes, right? The loss of revenue to me is not a real consideration if the changes will be benefiting the people of the Cayman Islands. But my point is, the question in my mind is always, does that decision actually benefit the people of the Cayman Islands? Just because it sounds good does not mean that it will. And we have seen time and time again, elected officials get up, no more work permits, and y'all like a bunch of fools be like, oh, yay! yay, I'm going to vote for him because he said no more work permits. And I like that idea. You know, I'm a Caymanian. And they never do it because it's not possible to put an ultimatum or a freeze on work permits like that. And they're also hurting Caymanian businesses. So it's like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish here? Everton says, look like we have the same problem here in the United States. People complain about foreigners taking their jobs, but yet the job that some of these people are taking out, we would not do. And that is true. I'm not talking about me because I have my own business, but the problem is just do a survey and see how many people would want to do the crappy jobs. I mean, those poor Mexicans working in the fields, I'm willing to bet you 99.9% of Americans are not going to go out there working in the hot sun all day with all these chemicals and whatever, trying to pick somebody's strawberries or work in a wine vineyard, right? CC says a lot of them cry wolf about wanting a job and don't even put in the effort to arrive on time. Ding, 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 ding. Much less do what they're hired for. And these are some of the realities, folks, of what we are having to deal with in the workplace as employers. RD Limited says people usually get offended when the truth highlights them or their shortcomings. Good morning, Miss Dorothy. So good to see you. CC says, yes, they're taking people's money for work permits and then blocking them. Now that has to stop for more reasons than one. I cannot advocate taking advantage of anybody, Caymanians or foreign workers. It's just wrong. But when you take advantage of a foreign worker, someone who has come here, and they honestly have very, very few choices, and you start to take advantage of them. To me, that is like a different level of, it's just completely egregious. It's horrible. It's horrific. Yeah. If you've ever lived in another man's country, which a lot of you have not, you might not understand the implications of the whole process. You know, being uncertain about your future, being afraid, and this is why even earlier in the week, on Monday, when I was talking about someone who's like a predator like George taking advantage of these women, I know a lot of y'all want to blame the women and say, well, the woman should know better and she must say no and whatever. It really strikes me that, number one, you don't appreciate the imbalance in the relationship. He shouldn't be doing it as someone who is supposed to be there assisting this person coming into this country. But in addition to that, he shouldn't be doing it because of the fact that these people are actually at a disadvantage. They are not in the same position as you, who might be here as a born and bred Caymanian. Somebody actually sent me a video. I'm going to see if I can download it because they said that this reminded them of George. Let me see if I can. It's an Instagram video. Hold on one second. But no, I mean, to me, it's no laughing matter. I am very, very discouraged when I see Caymanians trying to take advantage of people, whether it's to get money from them, having them pay for their work permit, that sort of behavior, or if it's even just to get sexual favors from that. And you know that these people, I mean, listen, you don't understand the level of desperation unless you've been there. I have lived, thankfully I was a child and I had someone there protecting me, looking out for me. But I have been in somebody else's country, and even as an adult, not having the immigration rights to do certain things you don't understand the level of stress until you've actually experienced it. Let me just put it that way. It's not easy. And listen, it was just me. I was just trying to get my education. I wasn't looking to feed any children and have the added complications of that added to my plate. So I think we could be a little bit more sympathetic. And when we see individuals taking advantage of vulnerable people, we need to recognize it for what it is and try to put a stop to it. Because it's just really, it's wrong at all levels. I know y'all think that George is funny and he's a little bit crackish, in terms of his behavior and whatever. But I don't find anything amusing or funny about misusing people's information that you through your job to then try to get them to get in bed with you. To me, that's not amusing. That's fun. That crosses a lot of lines, and it also should be crossing data protection as well, because he obtained her name, phone number, in the course of doing his job as a immigration consultant. Why are you using this as your booty call line, as your OnlyFans account? It's disgusting. But somebody found a little bit of humor in sharing this. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Miss Sandra.
Good morning, my dear.
Nice program as usual.
Thank you.
Nice information. But I'm a sixth generation Caymanian, so let me tell you, I have traveled far, lived in two places, but we Caymanians do not, some of us, let me get that straight. Some of us do not encourage nor help each other. If we have the money and we can travel different places, and when we take our children, just don't take them to Disney World every year or whatever, and go Florida and think that you have traveled. You got to travel to different places, even here in the Caribbean, that you see a lot of things that we don't see here. We are the gem of the Caribbean. But how long are we going to stay like that if we don't help each other, if we don't encourage each other, like the different nationalities that we have coming here, like the Filipinos, they help each other, they stick together, like the Indians, they do the same, and they encourage each other. And it is so pathetic that when we hear our politicians and we swallow it every bit and say, oh, yeah, he's good to put in or she's good to put in. Stand up and tell just most times is a mouthful of lies to get our hard-earned dollar for 4 years. Sometimes, like in West Bay, we keep voting back the same people and expect a big difference. Like I said before, you were fortunate that you lived in and went to school in different places. You lived in United States. To be honest with you, I really don't like Tampa, but that's only me. That's only me saying this. So excuse me. To me, Tampa is like Mount Pleasant, West Bay. I'll go to Florida to do some shopping.
I don't know how to take that, but Mount Pleasant, not a nice little area.
Yes. But it's not, to me, it's not lively enough. Okay, our whole island is not lively enough, considering we cater to tourists, and they ask for these things. When I was growing up, and I know that I'm much older than you, when I was growing up, we had places that were, I can't say we can do it now unless we get control of our traffic and the people that are driving so crazy. But we had places that were open till 2-3 o'clock in the morning, like Blue Horizon, which is now turned into a resident, and other places that we could go. We were we felt much better. We were helping each other. I started off to work, getting off the bus and going La Fontaine Hotel, which were owned by Americans. Most of the staff there were West Bayers. At that time, we didn't have many foreign workers coming in, mostly professional, like the chefs and the pastry chefs and stuff like that, including my husband, Peter. But we need to get ourselves together and help each other, most of all, before we let our politicians just shove it down our throats, like I said before, and we're believing. Read more, listen to what's happening around the world, then we know we are one of the most blessed places. Try to keep our environment cleaner instead of just dropping things everywhere. I had to speak to three people, foreign people last night about their beer bottles. You know what they did? They thanked me. I spoke to a Caymanian lady that had 3 children coming out of one of the fast food restaurants, and she told me mind her own business. As they went along, they drop things. That's mostly what I'm talking about. But I know it's more callers, Miss Sandra, and I thank you for the information that you're giving each day, and may God give you health and strength. And I understand your daughter Gigi is becoming a little artist.
Yes, thank you.
They can be so sweet. Oh my God.
Yes, trust me. They're really, she's really coming into her own.
Yes. And as she gets older, you'll find that she's intelligent, so you'll find that she's going to ask a lot of questions. You say, whoa. Anyway, God bless. Keep up the good show.
Thank you, my darling. I appreciate it. All right, folks, 936-BOBO is the telephone number. You can feel free to call in at any time. We got a number of topics here. We're going to play this interview from the DART organization, but look at what somebody sent me.
He doing a lot. He ain't gonna hurt me, huh? All right, don't play on my time, Mr. Monkey Man.
So this is
I got you, man.
For those of you who might be listening to the radio, somebody sent me this. This is a orangutan, looks like, out in the woods, and I guess this is some place where you can go and you can sit down with them and take your photo and stuff like this. And so this orangutan starts to get a little frisky with this woman, and someone said when they saw this, they couldn't help but think of George. Except George is supposed to be more intelligent than the orangutan, so I would remind you all of that. But have a look at this.
Baby. Wow. Oh, you just taste and smell so good. Put this leg up, show you what I'm all about. Man, lift them arms up, man. Let me feel them melon. Ooh,
okay, getting a little bit too frisky
wow, baby. Oh, melon.
She's
let me climb up here. Let me show you something real quick. Man, say, hold on, bro. Let me just lay across your. I love you, man.
Oh my God.
Shit, I've been waiting for you to come across. Say, man, wait. Stand up, take a selfie with me real quick, baby girl. This mine. This my queen. Stop playing with my talk. Say, bro, wait. Let me climb back here. Ooh.
Yeah. This poor orangutan is climbing all over her, kissing her hand, touching her breast. From the time he did that, but of course now, you know, these wild animals, and some of y'all humans be acting like wild animals, you might feel like you can't slap them on the hand and say, hey, orangutan, behave yourself. Because they're kind of strong. He might slap you back. But yeah, he was getting a little bit frisky and out of hand. And you can see the handler was like, okay, time for you to go now. And he's pushing the handler away like, no, she's my queen. Let me kiss and get on her back a little bit more. Oh, Lord have mercy. I can't with y'all. So Aliano, my goodness, I just want us to start thinking a little bit deeper. You guys know I don't pick on anybody here in the program. I just want y'all to think. So I sometimes I will challenge you to say, okay, this is your solution, but why is that your solution? How is that really going to help? How is that really going to work? This is how we should all be as members of this community when we have these discussions about how to solve our problems. This is a level at which we need to be engaged. So Aliana says, okay, I stand to be corrected. If I had all the answers, then I'd be elected. But trust me, I have an issue, MP Saunders. You don't want an MP Rico up there, I'm a taking them, kicking and screaming type of person. Two things I want to say about that comment. It's not really about being corrected. It's about, I just want you to think about a little bit deeper why you believe that that's going to solve the problem, and what evidence do you have that says that will be a problem solving idea. Listen, if you had all the answers, you'd be elected. No, they ain't got all the answers. This is where we need to, as a community, recognize that we're electing people who don't have all the answers. Sometimes they have less answers than the rest of us. Let's be very, very clear. That's why I keep telling you all, you need to do a better job of who you elect. Sometimes they don't have any answers, and we're still electing them to office. It's a popularity contest, folks. It's not about somebody who has all the answers and who can fix our problems. Nobody has all the answers, and nobody can fix all of our problems. We have to do this as a community to come up with solutions. But I think there are some traits we'll discuss time and time again that we should be looking for in our elected officials. And this concept of taking them, screaming, you're kicking them and screaming type of person, you can do that up to a certain point when it comes to doing your job. What you can't do, just like in the UK, because you're going to be forced to resign, is you can't do it out of context. You can't have the women kicking and screaming because they're trying to get away from you because you're like this little monkey over here.
He doing a lot. He ain't gonna...
who, trying to feel women up and trying to touch their breasts and cross the line. That's not the kind of kicking and screaming that we're looking for. So, you can be a no-nonsense politician that's going to take no prisoners on behalf of the people of this country. But that doesn't extend. So I don't know if you want to compare yourself to MP Saunders, because that doesn't extend to being inappropriate with women in the workplace. There's a big difference. RD says some of us have to go back to school. The Ministry of Education will pay for you to get a degree. No longer I got passes will no longer do. If you want to upgrade, you have to do the work. Yes, and you have to upgrade yourself. Good morning, Marco. I'm always shocked at people when they talk about minimum wage and they have the minimum wage conversation. Yeah. And they're like, oh, they want to, more money, more money. I don't hear any of those people who are making minimum wage saying how they are going to make themselves more valuable to an employer. What are you doing to upskill yourself? Why are you worth, if I'm a business owner, right, and I got a little retail shop, why are you worth more than $6 an hour to me? Ask yourself that question. What is going to be the trickle-down effect of increasing the minimum wage on small businesses? How many of y'all are worth $10 an hour? You don't want to show up to work on time. You think you're worth anything? Not on my payroll. And that's why, to be honest, even for myself, when I had a retail environment and I tried to hire Caymanians, the difficulty of doing so was not lost on me. Most of the time, I'm like, you know what? I'll just work myself. If I can't come in because I've got to be on the road running errands, I'm going to have to just stick a sign on the door saying I'll be in today at 11 o'clock. Because to hire a person and pay them, even $6 an hour, $9 an hour, whatever, and every day they got an excuse as to why they can't show up to work on time. They always got some drama, always on the phone, not doing what I need to. Why are you here? Why are you here wasting my time and making my blood pressure go up? I might as well not have you. And you don't understand how many employers struggle with that. They have workers because they need them, but most of these workers are not really upskilling themselves or offering any significant value to the company. So Aliana says that he's been in tourism for 8 years and it needs a major shakeup to many sharks in the water. There's no Cayman quality in the industry, and that is what the tourists seek when they come here. Well, on that note, let us watch the interview from the DART organization to see how they are trying to make a difference. So this was yesterday afternoon, folks. All right, so we are here with some individuals at the DART organization. We're going to be talking to them just in a little bit about the new DART hospitality training program. First of all, this is, I think, quite innovative. Ms. Diane, tell us a little bit about your involvement in it, how you got involved, and what you're going to be ensuring happens with the program.
So I am the hospitality program manager.
Okay.
Overseeing the whole coordination of this training program.
Yes.
So the reason why I got involved, of course, was to ensure that we can put Caymanians into these hospitality jobs, develop them, provide them with the foundation so they have a better understanding of career pathways that are available within the hospitality industry. Last year, we actually did the first pilot program, and out of that, Xavier is one of our graduates who's now working at the RCIPS. We've got 7 of our graduates right now working within all 3 of the properties. That is the Ritz-Carlton, the Panton by Hilton, and the Kimpton. So we're quite excited to get this started again for this year. We are doing the recruitment session right now. The deadline for people to apply is the 5th of May. We then start the program on the 9th of August, and that's there are 3 main stages to it. We tend to have an orientation first so that participants are familiar with the different properties and what the expectations are. Then we move into phase 1. So this is where they do 2 weeks of basic employability skills. What is expected behavior, how to deal with conflict, communication.
Yeah.
We then move into rotation. So they actually work in different positions at different properties. So one day they might be at front desk, next day at the restaurant. And then finally we go into position specific training. So we'll put them, if it's at front desk, then you're there for the next 6 weeks. So it's very in-depth, it's very hands-on.
Yes.
You get hands-on with experts in the field. So, if you want to learn more about pastry, you get to talk with the chef right then and there to understand a little bit more. If you want to understand a little bit more about HR, you can have HR that can speak to right there. So I think it's very beneficial.
Yes.
It gives more of an insight as to what goes on in the hospitality world, because I think that many people don't realize how diverse hospitality industry is.
Yes.
There's so many different pathways that people can take. And we really want to encourage more younger Caymanians to get into the industry and just explore it.
And we'll get to you in just a second here, Xavier, but how long is the actual training program for?
The training program runs for 3 months.
Okay. And is this a full-time commitment?
This is a full-time commitment. You're working from 8:30 until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The training goes from 8:30 to 4 as well. It is a paid opportunity. All our participants are given a stipend to help them through, because we don't expect them to be full-time training and being able to survive.
Yeah. And what would you say, if you had to describe the ideal candidate for this program, who would you say that looks like? What kind of person are you looking to attract?
Definitely someone who is committed, punctual, flexible, being open and very considerate of our customers, because we want somebody that smiles, somebody that's presentable. But definitely have to be flexible, because when you work in the hospitality world, that means you work in evenings, weekends, holidays.
Yeah.
Late nights.
Yes.
So we definitely want, we're really looking at those between the ages of 17 and 30. Just so we want to build that young capacity of Caymanians to really add to the value of what we're offering.
Right.
And of course, we are opening our a new hotel next year, and that's Hotel Indigo. And so we really want to get people prepared and trained up from now, so that we can meet that demand for next year.
Yes. And why has the DART organization taken on this role? I mean, it seems a bit, in a way, unusual for a private organization to say, you know what, let's do our own hospitality training program and, organize it, put all the various components together, recruit the individuals for it. Was there some sort of gap you feel that was not being met, that with your different properties, you could actually fill that internally through this program?
I think it's a lot focused on what we are expecting within our hotels. And so when we're doing this training, it's really hands-on. and that's an experience you wouldn't be able to get any other place. And that's why they're focused on developing their own program to be able to meet the needs of their hotels.
Beautiful. All right, so Xavier, you've had the opportunity to go through the program. You were in the initial group from last year then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about how you found the program to be.
Well, I believe from my experience, the program was a very, very good experience. Like you mentioned earlier, very innovative. I myself have been through different programs here in Cayman as far as like training and professional development. This one being that it's a paid one, you actually have some kind of stipend to actually help you get through, and that would be able to give you motivation to, you know, continue training and looking forward to the full-time employment.
Right. Okay, beautiful. And what area are you in? You're employed now?
Yes, I'm employed.
One of the properties?
I'm employed at a Ritz-Carlton. I work in guest services.
Okay.
So my official title is Airport Ambassador.
Nice.
So I help with the check-in process. So when guests arrive on the island, I greet them at the airport, give them a warm welcome, let them know we appreciate them for coming. Thanks for being here on island and choosing Grand Cayman as a hotel destination. And from there then, example, Mrs. Smith might come and they say, okay then, Mrs. Smith, welcome to Grand Cayman. My name is Xavier. So take the information and I'll send it to the hotel. And so as far as like the hotel room, make sure the room is ready. If they're celebrating a birthday, anniversary, or even if they're here on a business trip, we kind of cater the experience to whatever their needs are once they enter the island.
Yes, because of course everybody knows the Ritz-Carlton is all about ladies and gentlemen of the Ritz.
Serving ladies and gentlemen.
So yes, it's a certain caliber of service that your clientele are expecting. So you are able to deliver that.
Yes.
Beautiful. And what would you tell any young person who is thinking about this program? You know, how do they know if this is something that I really want to do?
Well, I would say it's definitely a great field to grow in. Right now in Cayman, this is a very unique time to be here. A young Cayman, and in Cayman, there's a lot of development going on. And there's also different, like I said, private companies and also local companies that are supporting young Caymanians and really pushing us forward to help us with our career development. And I think that is this program kind of encompasses all of those things, from soft skills of resume writing, emotional intelligence, learning how to deal with different personalities, and understanding that the importance of making logical and not emotional decisions, especially when it comes to representing different brands, whether you're at the Kimpton, you're at the Marriott, the Hilton, or even at the Ritz-Carlton. You need certain skills and understanding that, you know, you're here professionally. Between when you clock in and clock out, you're required to carry yourself a certain kind of way because you're representing not only yourself, but the brand you're also working for. So this training program encompasses all of those skills needed to grow and also develop yourself professionally.
Wow, sounds beautiful. So where do you see yourself, Xavier, in 5 years?
Well, in 5 years' time, I see myself being in probably Miss Diane's position, mentoring young Caymanians.
Beautiful.
And also showing them the importance, you know, of being proud of being a Cayman also, because we have a very unique brand. And also here in the Caribbean region, a lot of people can go anywhere else, you know, they choose to come here. So we have to make sure that we have enough skills, we're trained, and to show people that their money is valued here in Grand Cayman, you know. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, so this is a wonderful program. So just give us again how, if someone's watching this and they're thinking, this is something I'd like to find out a bit more, or perhaps I'd like to register, how do they go about that process?
Well, they can go online to dart.ky/hospitality. And once they click that, they can scroll down and you apply straight online. And we will then respond back to them and give them further instructions and what's needed. But you know, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be finished off with the recruitment. We want to see as many people take advantage of this opportunity. It's much more. It doesn't just stop at this training. It doesn't stop at the employment. Xavier will become a mentor to the next group. We also have a retention supporting them in that they get bonuses along the way. So we want to really encourage a lot more Caymanians to get involved, know that it is very rewarding, and give it a try.
And what's the capacity size? How many students can you take on for the program?
At this time, we're only taking 15 on.
Yes.
15 is still a lot.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
You know, we want to take advantage of it, and we'll see where it goes next year if we can extend it further.
Beautiful. All right, folks. So again, DART is stepping up to the plate, a private organization, but really interested in encouraging Caymanians to become part of the hospitality industry, starting their own hospitality training program specific to their properties, but undoubtedly you'd learn skills across the board. And is there, at the end of the program, is there a guarantee once they do well in the program of placement within one of the properties?
Once they do well, once they perform, they have to, there are things we look at: performance, being on time, how they dress, are they following the rules that have been laid out, once they do that, there's an opportunity for full-time employment at the end of that.
Beautiful. And how, Xavier, have you enjoyed working at the Ritz-Carlton?
Well, I can say meeting a lot of different nationalities. Ritz-Carlton might have anywhere between 20 to 40 different nationalities working within the hotel.
Wow.
So you get to really meet people and understand why people come here to work and the importance of our brand and the representation we have on the global platform. And so for the most part, it's been a very great experience. A lot of people are here to work and develop themselves professionally. And so being at the Ritz-Carlton, it gives me an opportunity to actually grow professionally and apply myself and actually see what works and what doesn't work and what I need improvement on. And the hospitality really shows you what you're good at and not good at.
Right.
So this kind of training program instills certain values in you to just keep pushing and stay motivated and apply yourself.
Yeah, wonderful. All right. Well, thank you both so much for taking a little bit of time out of your busy schedules, and good luck to you, Xavier. And of course, Miss Diane, good luck to you with the new incoming cohort as well.
Thank you.
All righty. There you go. So the DART organization, again, this training program. Now, I'm sitting here monitoring some of the comments. There's a few things going on that we're going to talk about after this. But CC says, but I now see where DART is offering $4 to $5 because they're receiving grants. I mean, grants or no grants, isn't our minimum wage $6? So two things to be clear. I do not know what DART pays their staff per hour in these industries. But what I will say is anyone that I have ever spoken to has always wanted to go work for the DART organization. I know people who work at Caymanian-owned hospitality businesses, and they themselves, every single time DART has a recruitment effort, they're there trying to get a job with the Ritz-Carlton, with the Kimpton, with any of the DART properties. So if they're being underpaid or mistreated, I would think Caymanians would have no desire or no interest to want to go there. So I think, Cindy, first of all, there is a difference that the law has allowed for people who are getting gratuities. So they're not held to the same minimum wage standard, because with gratuities, they could be making way more than that. But I would also caution you when you throw out these comments to make sure that you fact check them and that they're actually accurate. I can't say what DART pays their staff because I actually don't know. The only thing that I do know is everybody seems to go want to work for DART. So if DART was not paying well, or you did not have the opportunity to make good money at DART, why does anybody want to go work there? And I mean Caymanians, to be very, very clear. In addition to that, I also see that for these students, they're paying them in the hospitality training program, they're actually paying them $10 per hour. To be trained, to be a trainee on the job, you're getting $10 per hour. That seems like a fair salary with probably people who have little to no experience, that they're really just trying out to see if they're going to work in the industry or not, introducing them to their properties. It is a full-time position. So I can't imagine that they're going to pay them $10 an hour and then pay real workers less than that because they're trainees. But I stand to be corrected. Anybody work in hospitality at the DART industry that can tell me what it is that you guys are making? Ramelia also says, check back in a few months to see if and how many of our Caymanians are still employed at the Ritz-Carlton. Well, yes, you can do that. Xavier has obviously been there. He went through the program and he's been there over a year. But my real question is not if they're still there. If they're not there, the question becomes why. You can't always blame organizations for our failures. I know, listen, Miss Darlene, Miss Darlene, hold on, I'll come to you, Miss Darlene. Mr. Amelia, Cindy, I've known Caymanians during the last DART recruitment effort who were called to come in for an interview, booked an interview, and never showed up. You gonna blame DART for that? I've known ones who were hired on the job, worked for a week, and then never came back. We need to get our ish together and stop putting the blame on all of these organizations. So it might be that you're not going to see a whole lot of Caymanians staying there, but ask yourself why that's the case. It's not always the organization's fault. A lot of the blame in 80% of the cases has to do with the workers themselves. Ms. Darlene, good morning. Welcome to the program. Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there for a long time because I became sick just about the first year. But in that time, let me tell you, I learned so much from, I'm already a customer pleasing person to begin with. But these are things that I learned from working at the Ritz that I take today in my everyday life. The way you talk to people, the way you treat. Even now, there's one thing about names. I never forget your name. Just based on how the Ritz mold you and teach you how to talk to people and listen. As far as pay is concerned, I'll tell you the truth. And I was a concierge, and my tips sometimes were 3 times what my pay was, and I'm not joking about that, because again, the money, your attitude, the way you perform, you can get good tips. I don't know how the tips are because now they say it's a different thing, it's a pooling system or whatever. But the Ritz is a good place. I don't know working under Darts now, but it was a good place to work. You felt wanted. I remember birthdays. You get your birthday off. You get a treat at the spa. It made you feel really good to be working at the Ritz. And I just want to encourage young Caymanians. But the thing about it, Sandy, we have to get this in our head. Our attitudes determine our altitude. If you don't have yourself conditioned that you're going to have good work ethics, no organization is going to want you. Plain blank. You can't go mouthing off the boss or the supervisors and telling them you're born here and you. Because to be honest with you, I learned a lot from those foreign workers that they brought on to open that hotel. I learned so much. I'm friends still with some that go on to Mexico, to Poland and stuff like that on Facebook. And you have to have a good attitude. You have to have a good attitude in anything you do. If your attitude not there, you're gonna pop. That's just like a tire. You need that air to pump yourself up. And I just want to encourage all of them to go forward. There's no reason that every position in the hotel industry that can be filled, not filled with a Caymanian. Besides the fact that the ethics are not there, God forbid, like that lady said before, things have changed. The work ethics are not there, and we are entitled. We feel like we are entitled to just being a Caymanian. That's not the way to go. That's just not the way. So take advantage, young people, take advantage of this. It will take you places. It will take you places if you say, well, I work at a 5-star. You never can tell. You're traveling, and hopefully, like she said too, the greatest gift, experience. Cayman is a little shell compared to the big wide world out there. You can go anywhere. If you say I work at the Ritz, people will hire you because they know the foundation are good and they want people that work at 5 stars or whatever. So there we go.
Opens up a lot of opportunities. All right, caller. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Strong Will says, yes, it's for Caymanians. So let me give y'all the information now on how you can find out more about this program. I grabbed my notes while the video was playing. So again, this is a DART hospitality training program sponsored by DART, and it's used to develop and provide Caymanians who are recent graduates from secondary or tertiary educational programs an opportunity to receive hands-on training and exposure to various jobs and hotels within the DART hospitality portfolio. So as you guys know, DART owns a number of properties, including the Kimpton Seafire. They've got the Ritz-Carlton, and the Hilton by Hampton, I think is what it's called. And then there's an additional property, the Indigo, that's going to be coming online, I believe, next year. Caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, honey child. How are
Good
you?
morning, Miss Romelia.
My darling,
Yes.
I am all for the training. I don't care by who. I am all for the training. But you said something earlier. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's with you have to experience something to know something. When with the foreign workers are trying to work overseas and that you have experience. Well, I am speaking of experience. I have been in the hotel industry for over 20 years, Sandy. Sandy, and my last employment was at the Ritz-Carlton, and at the residence. I was a residence concierge. And Sandy, I am telling you for fact, and I ain't telling you what nobody tell me. I am telling you what I experienced. Yes, they hire Caymanians and they terrorizes the Caymanians in the Ritz-Carlton. They lie on them, they write them up wrongfully, and they fires them just to get foreigners in. They, on top of that, foreigners get the extra work over the Caymanians. I am not afraid to stand up and to speak out of what I have experienced and what I have seen my fellow Caymanians went through. You understand? I am speaking of facts, Sandy.
And when were you there? How long ago was this?
That was about I was there about 5-6 years back. I was there because from then I became a staff. I left there. I went to Caymanian Land and Sea, and I was there like for 4 or 5 months, and then I went driving taxi. But let me tell you, you child, it at one point in time it got so bad that I had to encourage all of our employees to let's speak up and speak out. And we did that. There has a survey where we have to rate our managers, and we did that. And corporate had to come down to see what was going on. Why were the staff rating the managers so bad? Let me tell you, they are not for Caymanians. They only hire Caymanians as a sham, or past government knows this, and they have been told this. And I, for one, I personally stood up outside the Ritz-Carlton and protest outside the Ritz-Carlton. Me one. And up to this date, the Ritz-Carlton have not dragged me into court to say, well, what you're saying is not true, because they knew it was true. They know that I was stating facts, and they know I have my evidence to back it up. You understand? So let me tell you something, darling. I do not believe, and I should not be, the diversity in the Ritz-Carlton, because then they get people from Timbuktu to be a doorman. And if the first thing they come up and say Caymanians lazy, Caymanians don't want to work, Caymanians don't want to turn up to work on time, baloney. Sandy, it is baloney. You hear what I tell you? I personally used to make $900 tip from owners in the Ritz-Carlton, where I used to do my job in such, a way. You understand that it blowed them people away. Not salary, tip. $900 tip I used to make, but they didn't like that. They wasn't happy with that. You understand? When you go above and beyond and do things for the owners, they don't appreciate of that. You thank God if you made the wow storybook. You understand? Foreigners are put front up over our Caymanians in the Ritz-Carlton and in the Marriott Hotel and about there. I am sorry. We need some serious legislation for the workforce and to protect our Caymanians. And it ain't nothing about telling people, oh, I am Caymanian and I can do this and I can do that. That have nothing to do with it, and that wasn't me at all. You understand? But knowing facts. They do not want to employ Caymanians.
Leave me there.
Thank you very much.
All right, my dear. I appreciate it. So just a few comments in relation to that caller. Someone says what Romelia is saying is true, but that was before DART. So, I mean, we can't talk about present day what's happening with the DART organization if they didn't own the Ritz at that time. So, yes, Ms. Romelia can speak from firsthand knowledge that's been her experience. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's been everybody's experience, but in 5+ years, things may have changed as well. So this person says, this is a very general statement. Is it one manager or everyone in management? So could it be that the area in which Mr. Amelia was working had, managers who were not pro-Caymanian? That happens. Sometimes that's not indicative of the entire organization. So you have to be very, very careful when you say, oh, the Ritz-Carlton is the problem. It could be, and we've seen this before in all sorts of organizations, one or two people that are making the entire organization look bad because of their actions and what it is that they're doing. So John says, attitude determines altitude. Excellent quote, and so fitting to our Caymanians. The jobs are there, folks. Denver says you have to sell yourself working in the hospitality industry to obtain great tips. The money is good and opportunities to travel as well. Scott goes on to say, I don't know if people understand how these brands work. That hotel job you want that's held by an expat, they worked in the brand at another hotel in another country to get to that opportunity. They're not giving that to you because you want it or feel entitled to it. This gets you inside the brand, foot in the door to literally a world of opportunity. And he says he was so tired of this woman. Mr. Robert, good morning, says she's absolutely right. I also have facts about what she said. Caymanians are afraid to talk because they don't have a job after 100%. They don't have a job after. Oh, sorry. Stop. Full stop. 100% facts. Ms. Sue says Mr. Amelia is absolutely right. It's all true. My own grandson went there at age 17, and a friend of mine was in HR. There, a Caymanian treated her so bad. I'm not quite sure I get that. Your grandson went there age 17, and a friend of mine was in HR. There, a Caymanian treated her so bad. So the Caymanian in the HR was treated bad, or the Caymanian was doing the treating? I'm confused. Robert says, present day, you can call off air and I'll give you the facts. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning. How are you doing, Sandy?
Not bad, dear. How are you?
Yeah, I just want to agree a little bit with Romelia there.
Mm-hmm.
About 4 months ago, I got a nephew that worked there.
Mm-hmm.
And the position was open at the Ritz-Carlton. And he was pushing pretty hard for me. I went to HR and I applied for the job.
Mm-hmm.
They asked me what position I was looking for. Mm-hmm. I told them the position that were open. I heard that they were open. So she said, where are you from? What kind of passport? I thought a Cayman passport.
Mm-hmm.
When she started Cayman passport, she told me right away, you don't have anything. And I know the position was there because my nephew worked there.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4 places were open in there for houseman. And she told me directly when she saw my passport, it was nothing. So that's my little comment. And that's about 3 months ago. So I don't think Romelia is wrong. That's still going on.
And again, let me ask you a question, because this is where perhaps the DART organization and the Ritz-Carlton specifically, because the DART organization holds the brand. But my understanding is there's a lot of things that happen within the brand, some of it outside of their control, because the head office of the Ritz-Carlton ultimately has the say in hiring. So they can do some stuff without a doubt at the local level, but there's more to it than people realize when it comes with these so-called high-end and exclusive brands. But I'm curious to know what specific department that was that you were speaking to, and even who you were speaking to, because you may have one or two rogue individuals, and we've seen this happening in an organization, trying to help their friends or their buddies or keep jobs open for their friends overseas. And the management at the DART, the top management at DART, isn't aware that that's happening. And that's where you need to be in a position to call them out.
yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you know, I was in there 3 minutes. I didn't even know her name. I was in there 3 minutes. She don't give me the time for anything. And you're going happy. You know, the position is open, and you walk out on unhappy. It's a long story. You know, that's my little thoughts of the day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right,
All right, folks. 936 Bobo is the telephone number. Lavana says yes, but Caymanians need to want to work. This is the problem. So I don't think that there's any, there's not one experience that fits all. People will have different experiences. Ramelia says Mark Langevin and Jeanette Goodman are horrible, manager and general manager. So if you could tell me, when you say that they're horrible, I don't really have any experience with either one of them. Exactly what is it that you mean by that when you say that they're horrible? Give specifics, because I'm sure the DART organization, if they have a problem with the general manager, if they have a problem within the organization, in my opinion, they deserve to know what people are saying and what might be, a hindrance for people to actually work with their organizations. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandra. How are you?
Good morning. Not bad. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Tourism. Where do we start with that? I think where we fall short on tourism on a whole is by our people. You got good and bad anywhere in the world you go. But we all know that our young Caymanians, maybe the older generation, right? But the young Caymanians does not want to work in tourism. They go to work one day, and the next day they don't show up to work, or they go to work for a whole month, and a day later they come back, or after that month they come back and say, oh, they're sick. You cannot expect, I'm not saying that you're not allowed to get sick or you're not going to get sick. You will get sick.
Yeah.
But if you're on the job for a month, how is it, or how do you think it's going to look one day after you're calling in sick?
Yeah.
You understand where I'm coming from? And then again, when you do go to an interview, you need to put in your mindset what you're going there for. If you're going to an interview and tell them you're going for any position that is open, obviously that's a red flag. You understand where I'm coming from? You go and you know what you want to do. Okay, I'm going for a bellman. This is the position I come for, and this is the position I want to be interviewed for. Once you put your foot in that door, then you expand, you fly, you do whatever. But if you're going into an interview and they ask you what position are you coming for, and you tell them any position that is open, no company don't want to hire you because you're not stable enough to tell them what you're coming there for, what you're bringing to them. You understand? And the young man that just called Case, believe me, I would have got her name and asked her who she was, and I would have reported her, because sometimes maybe the higher bosses doesn't know what's going on. I don't give neither party right or wrong. There's always two sides to a coin. So I would have said, sorry, ma'am, what's your name? And I would have said to her, listen, I see the position open. These are my qualifications. This is what I can bring to the table. Now, I want you to explain to me, why is it that I'm not a fit candidate for this job? You see, you have to elaborate. You have to speak out. Going into an interview and they telling you, oh, what passport you're showing your passport, and you walk out empty-handed. I mean, you never tried hard enough. Maybe it was a test.
Okay.
Yes, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, my dear. 2 cents, worth 10 cents. 936 Bobo. Moya, Miss Sue, clarifies. She says, no, the HR Caymanian woman worked there in HR, was treated badly till she left. My grandson was training chef age 17. That was 10 years ago. Well, Miss Sue, a lot has changed in 10 years. The brand is under new management. And this is also the first time that any of these hotels, Caymanian owned or otherwise, have gone the step of even bothering to have a hospitality training program. I'm just saying. So this is the second group. They started last year with 14 students in the pilot group. 12 candidates were successful in completing the program. So already you got 2 that didn't for whatever reason. 8 were offered jobs at one of the 3 hotels. 7 accepted the role and are still employed and performing well. So to Miss Romelia's point, let's look at the statistics again, because I believe in numbers, honey child. The numbers don't lie. So let's back it up. Program designed to better prepare local applicants for hospitality jobs increase the number of Caymanian employees within the hotels, and raise awareness of careers within the hotel industry. 14 did the program, 12 completed it, 8 offered jobs, 7 accepted and are still employed and performing well. That ain't too bad, especially when you know what I know about some of these people who don't want to work. So they do a number of things, including there's a foundation course, rotation, position-specific training, performance evaluation. So they look at teamwork, attendance and punctuality, willingness to accept feedback and learn, job competencies, attitude and professionalism, and customer service. Trainees are going to receive a stipend of $10 per hour, 100% covered standard health insurance, 30 hours per week minimum scheduled. They're taught by industry experts. They get hands-on experience, meals provided during classroom sessions, and career guidance. I mean, this is a really, really good opportunity for training and development of our Caymanians. You have to be a Caymanian, this is criteria now, ages 17 to 30, a minimum of a high school diploma. What they say is the right stuff, which is attitude, level of interest, and engagement. Flexibility in working hours and days, because when you get into hospitality, this is the other thing about people who work in hospitality. Hospitality, you are working around your clientele. That's a 24/7 situation. So when you're scheduled to work a shift, holidays, evenings, whatever, you can't be like, no, I can't work no holidays. That's you're looking for 9 to 5, Monday to Friday job. That's not hospitality. So you also have to be very, very realistic about what the hospitality industry requires of you. And flexibility in working hours is one of the things. Basic computer skills, self-motivation and teamwork, commitment to going the course. One listener to the program says, let me see here. I provided health insurance for the Ritz for many, many years, and I know Jeanette, and she is a lovely person. Maybe it was Romelia's attitude, just saying. Well, I don't know. I can't speak to it, but this person said that they've worked, and this is a Caymanian saying this. That they have worked with her and found her to be very lovely. All right, let me just see here. Yes, my dear honey chill. Moya says, but are the positions not on the work portal to apply? As I thought all positions had to be on the work site so they can see who's applying and ensuring that all Caymanians who qualify are able to get the interviews. Denver says, this reminds me of a few ladies that haven't told me that since they got their status, they can't get a job. Aliana says, I feel that we need to not get caught in this notion of who will work versus who will not work. The industry needs to be of a Caymanian quality. That's why people come here. That's what people come here for. Yeah, but if you can't get Caymanians to work in hospitality, what are you going to do? You need to have that conversation as well. Like you can't say, okay, Caymanians need to be the face of hospitality. And if they're not the face for hospitality, you have to ask the reason why. And I can tell you there are a lot of Caymanians who have no interest in hospitality. Despite what you guys are saying about, oh, they need to be the face of hospitality, they don't want to be the face of hospitality. They want a 9-to-5 job where they can put on a suit and tie and sit at a bank teller position all day. That to them is more enticing, although that bank teller in reality is not going to make the salary or the income that someone who is attached to a gratuities-based position will get. But they don't care about that. And these are choices that people have to make. Hospitality is not for everybody. Sasha, good morning, says, you always talk the truth, Sandy. Well, I do my best. Strong Will says, hi, Sandy, real talk. Strong Will also says, I heard that DART paid good. Gabby clarifies that they're able to pay under $6 because the grats make up the rest. And, you know, even Miss Romelia herself said gratuities are good. When you work at these top-notch properties, I can tell you that people tip extremely well. Child, you can't even go to the airport and have the baggage handler assist you with your bags anymore and be trying to tip him $5 because he's going to be looking at you cross-eyed like, what currency is that supposed to be? And some of them barely be moving your bags for you. Speaking of that, you go to Miami airport now, you can't find a porter. Look like after COVID, they got rid of all the porters. They're no longer working. And the 1-2 that are there, they be hiding out, child. You can't find them when you need them. All right. The upcoming program is going to run from August the 9th through September the 3rd, basically 3 months. You need to complete the application form, submit a resume, police clearance certificate, and you have to do a drug test upon selection. They need to be doing that drug test if they know what I know, honey child. Because a lot of Caymanians and even non-Caymanians now are getting into the drug business here in Cayman. It's very, very sad. That's a whole other topic, but believe me, you. So you get, in terms of the opportunities, work experience, placement, internships, career talks, and hotel tours. And so, folks, if you're interested in this, contact, I'm trying to see where the contact email is here now. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it for you. I'll get it for you, but contact them and find out more about the DART Hospitality Training Program. It's a good initiative. I don't believe the DART organization would be wasting their time trying to have this program if they didn't really intend to try to recruit Caymanians into the hospitality industry. It's like, why would you bother? And I see that what's her name now? Diane Conley is there with them. And I had to chuckle to myself when I saw her yesterday because, of course, I had no idea that she was there. The last I heard, she was working over at WORC for government. Y'all sitting there complaining about the DART organization, but let me be very clear in case y'all missed the memo. The DART organization is quietly and not so quietly acquiring a lot of very qualified Caymanians. I'll pay attention now. Because while y'all sitting there cussing them, they're getting the best of the best. And oftentimes, those are the civil servants that we probably may not want to leave, but DART is picking them off one by one. Quite a few people used to work government work over there now, honey chill. Aliano says that the industry is a good paying industry, just bad product operators. Proper labor laws I call for, and what all need to see reform come next election. We can get reform before an election, you know. Okay, Strong Will says, hi, Sandy. I totally agree with that. Callers, flack facts. Mr. Relia says, I've seen a young Caymanian who enjoyed working at the Ritz 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Shift was fired wrongfully. This is the reason I called in immigration. A young Caymanian fired by someone who didn't have the permit, who didn't have the permit for the position. Immigration arrested him, and 2 weeks later, he had the permit for the same position. Okay, and when was this, Mr. Amelia? I don't know. All I can say is, if Caymanians keep saying, well, we're not even going to try, we're not going to bother. Xavier is a success story. There's at least 7 others that are there. How are we going to move the needle forward if we don't get in the door and try our best? And if these things are happening in real time, then I say, yes, let's expose them for sure. Gabby says, I feel if Caymanians want to go into the tourism business, it's best to start their own business, get certified and open your own dive shop and tours, come together and build our own hotel or villas, start our own boat tours, etc. And Caymanians, Gabby, to be very, very clear, have traditionally done that. Most of the tour operators, most of the people, even the taxi operators. I had a Jamaican guy stop me the other day when I was walking from court and I was passing the bus depot, and he was saying to me, like, a lot of the buses out there are obviously owned by Caymanians, but they have multiple buses, and they have, they then turn around and hire Jamaicans to work for them to man their buses. And he was saying he only had one. He had some complaints about the bus routes and stuff. And he says, he only has one, but he can't make money in the day to even pay for his gas and whatever. Like, it just is becoming a difficult industry to be in. And so that's one that Caymanians need to stop jumping into, because then you out there complain you can't make money. It's no longer a viable business for more than one reason. Everton says, this is a problem that I have. Why go to the program when you graduate, you don't go to work? That makes no sense. Why go through the program and don't go to work? That's a waste of everybody's time. Out of 14, only 7 took a job. So not out of 14, out of the 12 that completed the program, because we don't know what happened to the 2, 7 out of 12. 8 were offered jobs, 7 accepted. But remember now, this is the interesting thing. Of the 7 that are accepted, they're still employed and performing well. That, to me, let's not miss the point. That is a success story by any measure. You know, you can't start at the very beginning, the people who do the course, because people always find a reason to drop out of courses. And if we looked at similar courses in Cayman, I'm sure if you looked at the UCCI hospitality training program, y'all might be surprised at the completion rate. A lot of Caymaners don't have the stick-with-itness that they require, okay? But when you get down to the nitty-gritty, that 8 people were offered a job, 7 accepted, and of the 7 that accepted, they are still there. So Ms. Amelia says she doesn't recommend them on her tours. She doesn't recommend the Ritz-Carlton or Marriott Hotel on her tours, and that's unfortunate. But I'm probably guessing that the people who are touring with you are not the Ritz clientele in any event. They're the people who come through, as Xavier said, when they come through the airport, they're not having contact with you, honey child. The Ritz is there to pick them up with the concierge service that they expect for the ladies and gentlemen of the Ritz. There are very different types of clientele on this island in terms of properties, hotel properties. And so we have to acknowledge that we might get the cheaper ones that come on the cruise ships. They're not looking to spend no money. And they may be the ones who are taking tours with you, Mr. Amelia. They don't have any interest in the Ritz in any event. I can assure you of that. Probably 99% of them would never stay at a Ritz-Carlton property, right? But the people who do have a very different expectation of service. Now, let me share something with you all. Over the Easter weekend, I had the opportunity to stay at the Finn. And the Finn is a luxury property. Somebody treated me for the weekend. It was quite interesting, again, to see, as Miss Darlene said, the things that you can learn even from observations on the outside, how these properties are managed and how they are ran. Let me tell you something. The Finn is no Holiday Inn. Some of the property owners are there, and you know, they own the units, and some of them are like, I guess, like in a rental pool. So I was at one of the rental pools, like I said, courtesy of a friend who treated me and our guests for the weekend. And the level of service is top notch. It's completely, listen, you get there before you even get there, right? Your welcome email, your welcome basket when you get there, the level of service that you get access to cars. Chad, I was all about that Tesla life for the weekend. I was like, oh, is a Tesla free right now? They're picking up guests at the airport. So like I said, Ms. Amelia, those guests will never see you. That's not the caliber of guests that they are. This is a top-notch service, right? This is like creme de creme. This is the top of the top. And they show up and they're being picked up in a Tesla. They're being driven to their destination for Easter because we were there for the Easter weekend. They did a beautiful Easter basket for us. So the second we opened our door, there was our lovely Easter basket. They had stuff in there for Gianna because, you know, when we were checking in, they need to know the name and age of all the guests. So they had age appropriate stuff for her for Easter. She was so tickled pink. She was like, the Easter bunny didn't forget me, because I figured this is the last year we're going to believe in Santa and the Easter bunny and the tooth fairy, but I'm riding the wave for now. So she's like, you know, at Christmas, if we're not here for Christmas, is Santa going to know how to find me in Jamaica? These are the questions that kids have. They're asking, they're wondering. And so she was absolutely tickled pink to have like an Easter basket. Like, oh my gosh, this is so special. Totally different level of service. Towels available for you. We went out on the boat cruise for the day, right? We booked a tour. It was just us. It was, you know, top-notch service. Drinks available for you on the boat. Listen, it's not for everybody. And I got to live that lifestyle for a weekend. It was great to just experience it so that I can talk about it and share it with you all. You know, I'm not in that income bracket. I'm not going to be hanging out there every weekend, but it's good to know that we can attract different types of clientele here in the Cayman Islands. And the irony of it is next week, I'm going to be playing the Marla Ducran's presentation at the recent Economic Outlook. And she talks about this very thing. What is it that we're doing with our tourism product? And the fact that we don't have any information that she's been able to obtain to even see why we make certain decisions that we make in tourism. Who is it that we're attracting? Is it quantity over quality? Is it quality over quantity? We talk about wanting quality, and then we let in 1,000,001 cruise ships every single day. They're not your quality clientele. They're the people who come here and on average spend 15 hours a day, $15, my apologies, or $25 per day per head. You know, tour operators complain that they can't make any money off of them. You can't have it all. And you have to understand that there will be sacrifices and there will be compromises that are going to be made. So if you want a clientele who's going to be tipping you good and you know, that sort of thing, well, then you need to consider and you need to think about who that person is and the type of expectations that they have. They may not want to be driving around with you in your little beat up taxi bus where the AC barely works. They're not looking for that level of experience. This is some real talk that we need to have in relation to our tourism product and experience. Ms. Venice says 7 Caymanians. I would have thought it would have been more that the amount percentage-wise, young Caymanians just need a break to success and get supervisors who support them. So 7 out of 12. 7 out of 12. 8 actually got offered jobs. And I don't know what happened to the one. They didn't want it. So 8 out of 12 got offered a job. That's not bad numbers, honey child. The other ones obviously were not of the caliber that they needed for the properties. And it's better to have them go through a hospitality training program so that, you know, you can figure out, and I think this is a good idea and this is a good way to do it. You can figure out over 3 months whether or not that person's going to be a good fit, as opposed to hiring them into the job and then realizing 3 months into an actual work experience that they're not going to cut it at all. And again, 7 accepted and 7 are still there. Y'all are missing, you're missing the forest for the trees. Or is it the trees for the forest? The trees for the forest, I think. That is actually a really good indicator. 7 accepted and 7 are still there. You understand what I'm saying? All right, y'all think on it. So Ms. Amelia says, Sandy, that's not true. I don't know exactly what I said a lot, so I'm not sure specifically what you're talking about. Everton says, if you guys are having so many problems with management in the industry, why not apply for some top positions? Stop letting those people get the top positions so that they will always have an edge over you. Strong Will says, hi, Sandy. This is why you're there, to expose them. Keep up the good work, Sandy. Aliana says, the vetting process needs to be more effective. Too many bad apples, and parents need to be held responsible in getting their children in the right frame of mind to work. Well, you see, this is the thing. It's not an employer's job to do that. And so whoever's job it is, parents, schools, whoever, to get your children ready for work, if they're not doing that, y'all seem to think that it's the employer who must then suffer and take on the burden of these really poor workers. So folks, the situation with the accident, this is it here. This blue vehicle ran right through the fence of that yard there in the often quiet town of Breakers. But one thing I noticed about Breakers, honey child, y'all love to be running into people's, Y'all love to be running into people's yard. I don't know what it is with these road cars, but they be come around that bend, come around those curves a little too fast, lose control, just like this one, fly through the light pole and right into the people's yard, almost into their homes. My goodness. And the thing about Breakers, it has an elderly community, and some of y'all about to kill these old people. I'm like, what on earth? Please get your act together now. So I don't know who owns that car, But whoever the homeowner is, contact Recover. You'll want to make sure that you got the right lawyers on your side to make sure your fence and everything else gets repaired. Hopefully there was not any significant damage there. What a ting. All right, let's talk about the RCIPS. We have a video here from yesterday of an RCIPS officer flying through a school zone. My Jesus, take the wheel of the police car. This is so egregious and unacceptable on so many levels. Officers are tasked with not just enforcing the law, but they should be following the law. Yes, that's not up for debate. And here we have, and it's always the one or two bad apples that make it bad for everybody, right? An officer, I'm going to show you guys the video here, runs right through, I mean, unbelievable, runs right through a bus that is stopped letting kids off. My goodness, do y'all not know that when you see a bus stopped in both directions, you are by law required to stop? It's a requirement. And so to see this shocked me yesterday afternoon. And I thought to myself, oh no, honey child, you are going to be the jackass of the day. Not acceptable. This is the kind of thing that makes me wonder, where do y'all, what kind of training school did you go to for the RCIPS? I mean, really? Oh my gosh, check out this officer. He's in a world of trouble here today, I can tell you that. Because the police don't like to be embarrassed on CMR. And this is an embarrassment to them. So here he is. Let me get the picture. JA of the day. Look at him. Flying right by. Look at that. Let's play it again. Honey child, you're going to get reprimanded by the bosses today. And here's the worst part. When the person zoomed in on the footage to see, you know, who this rogue officer was, guess what he was doing? On the phone. Go figure. Had the phone up to his head, chatty pun the people them phone or pun his phone. I don't know who the phone belongs to. Hands-free is supposed to be the law, sir. Having it up to your head with your hand like that is not hands-free. So maybe that's why he wasn't paying attention and probably didn't even see the school bus, because he's engaged in some conversation that had him running through and passing the school bus like this. Yeah. What a mess. So I can tell you all this dash cam was shared with us. We shared it, obviously, on our platform. And the RCIPS management has reached out, the top brass, and they want to know more details of exactly where this took place, the when and the where. Because I do believe somebody's going to get reprimanded and written up, as they well should be. We all are subject to laws, honey. Officers, there's a greater expectation on you that you will, for sure, lead by example. And when you don't lead by example, everybody is going to be watching you and saying, what? Did he just really do that? Yes. Thousands of people, sir, have seen this video as of yesterday, and they are in a state of shock and disbelief. Always remember, you're out in public. Just assume that you're being watched. Assume that people are paying attention to you. Be on your best possible behavior. That's my recommendation. 47 comments later, the post has reached over 8,000 people. And people are like, is he on the phone? Another person says, was that bus parked or letting off kids or children? I really hope not. And somebody says, if you look to the far left, at the start of the video, I think that's a child that may have just gotten off the bus. Even if the child hadn't gone off the bus yet, what this person did was completely illegal. Another person, Miss Donna, says, yes, it seems like children were to the back of the bus. Let me see who this is calling this morning. Good morning, caller. Welcome to, or are you trying to be on the show? Well, can I actually get you, because you're calling on my private number, so nobody can hear you but me. But if you call this show number, then they would be able to hear you. 936-2626. Thank you. Yes, sir. Okay, dear. Thanks very much. Yeah, if you just call my personal number, it's just a private conversation between me and you. So call the show number. He's sharing an experience that I think we all want to hear. 936 Bobo is the telephone number. Big shout out to Popeyes, our sponsors for today's program. Love me some Popeyes chicken, honey chill. Gotta be watching that when you're watching the hips. Strong Will says, hi, Sandy. They should charge that officer. So stupid. Gareth says, fire that officer. I despise people who likes to run over kids. Well, thankfully he hasn't ran over them yet. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Sandra, I heard you talk about police officers.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday afternoon at the Frank Sound T Junction, I saw a police car heading. He turned to head toward East End, but guess what? He came up to the stop sign, did not stop, eased through the stop sign, and turned left. Now, a stop sign means a stop, right? That's how I learned to drive. Police run the stop sign. Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you. Wow. Folks, get yourself some dash cams. I keep telling y'all, they are the best invention in cars as of late. Dash cams, invest in them. Good investment. Oh, somebody says, listen, living in Ramelia's head must be a very dark, sad, and angry place. For someone who is highly blessed and divinely favored, she sure complains a lot and such a negative person. Oh my gosh. They say she's a troublemaker and stirs up. And then they use that little emoji that stands for the S word wherever she works. Oh, Lord. Employers are weary of her. Best thing she did was become self-employed and run a taxi. As a matter of fact, she was holding hands with Frank McField and held the strike at Hyatt way back in the late 1990s or early 2000s when she worked there in housekeeping. Well, I'm a firm believer that some people shouldn't be working for other people. I'm one of those people too. A mess. I tell you. Oh, geez, I'm peace. Ooh, honey chow. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
You need to share that joke. That's the one I want to hear.
Which one?
The one that you're enjoying all by yourself. That one there. Ha ha ha. But I know you're not give that up. But why do we have to run down people? And what you say she did in the last century, we're into the 21st century now, into year 23. And what you say she did the last century, she helped to lead.
I think.
Oh, come on,
that,
us people.
I think that ultimately, the point really that is trying to be made is that maybe as the caller, as a listener to the program surmise, not everybody should be working in hospitality or for other people. And so once you get, and this is true of a lot of different things, a lot of different industries, once you get labeled as a troublemaker, you are done for. And so if you go into every single job and people see you as constantly being negative and constantly stirring up the S, as the person said, you will find it more and more difficult to get employment.
We understand that, but it takes somebody to stand up.
Yes, but to be fair, if she's saying, listen, something happened 5 years ago, Ms. Sue said 10 years ago at the Ritz, if they can call these organizations for things that happened 5 or 10 years ago, which they have a right to do, other people can say, hey, as long as this woman's been in hospitality, there's been nothing but complaints about her from the hotels. There's been a slew of hotels. Is that a fair comment? Well, we leave it to y'all to decide.
But somebody really, when you work on the inside of these industries, everything that glitters on the outside is not gold. And there's a lot of abuse and a lot of unfair treatment and some illegality that goes on inside these organizations.
And to be clear, the person who made that comment is a Caymanian who has worked in hospitality for a very long time.
That's okay.
I'm just
We're
saying,
all Caymanians this morning, yeah.
I'm just putting it in context.
That's okay. So give Miss R a break while she make the complaint that the other upstanding one didn't make. Maybe should have made, and maybe should have been back in, the Dr. Frank and the Mr. Amelia at that time, because something, in my humble opinion, needed to be aired out, which I don't think really got aired out. But whatever. The woman has a right to complain if somebody does mash her toes.
Yeah. And
so
I mean, and people have a right to complain about her too. That's
yeah. But let us not. Yeah, but what we're trying to do right now is to quiet. I'm a Caymanian. I know how we operate. Trying to quiet her down. Let her make her complaints. If there's a reason, if she's a liar, then let her be exposed as that. If there's a reason for a complaint, a lot of things can't go into place in Cayman because there's no law.
All right. Another person. Thank you very much, caller. Appreciate your comments.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. This person says everything you said is true. I appreciate the truth telling. Why knock the Ritz-Carlton when they're trying? 7 is a massive success because people are always falling off, and all true about Romelia. Someone else says in the comment section, to be fair to Miss Romelia, Darlene McKenzie says, people that stand up are always called troublemakers. Most when people are wrongdoings, they hate whistleblowers. And our local Caymanians are most of the time is the worst of our own. You guys will have to decide what truth is there to be had. I find that in a lot of these things, there's truth on all sides, really. It doesn't mean that every single hotel does a bad job, and it doesn't mean that every single Caymanian who is working in a hotel is a troublemaker, etc. But I have seen my fair share, some even family members. There was a young man who was saying to me, he was at the last Ritz-Carlton job fair, the last job fair for a hotel. And I said to him, oh, what are you doing here, young man? You don't have a job? And then he told me he was working in some other hotel. And I said, or was it Red Sail? Somewhere. I can't remember now. And I said to him, I said, well, what happened to you in that job? Well, it was his fault. Believe he can smoke pot and not show up to work. I was like, oh, okay. So in other words, you deserve to have gotten fired. And you think the Ritz-Carlton is going to be hiring you? When you already have a track record, y'all need to wake up, because those things will follow you. In your youthfulness and in your stupidity, you think you can go out there, like I said, quitting jobs, getting fired for jobs, and next week you're going to have another job. And y'all already in the streets gotten babies that you got to be supporting. It's not that easy anymore. But I also appreciate that there are people who are standing up and who are speaking up. And those people will always be put in the corner and castigated, and you can't get employment. There's one singular reason why I did not get articles of clerkship in this country, and it had nothing to do with my academic ability. But at the end of the day, I came to realize that you're right where you're supposed to be. And I am most thankful for the experiences that I have had. Because God knows, as a lawyer, I wouldn't be a defense lawyer. Those clients not ready for the cold, hard truth. I'm not so sure I could work for the prosecution. Corporate law pays good money, but you're working for the wrong people most of the time, just trying to make the rich even richer. So how would I have been making a real difference as an attorney in this country? Only God knows. You're right where you're supposed to be. I am very, very thankful for exactly where I am today. So stay positive, y'all. Stay positive. Damien says when they see Caymanians have the skills and smarts, expats get nervous. Make them nervous. Make everybody nervous. You still get out there and do what you got to do and excel. Mm-hmm. Morning, caller. Welcome back.
Yeah, well, here as per your articles of clerkship, the real reason you didn't get an articles of clerkship would be because of that hint that you made, intelligence. So don't rub it wrong. That's exactly what you did. You didn't go any further than that. Intelligence.
And
you know what? They really know that you really know that they're afraid of that.
Well, listen.
And for those people who not guessed yet, I know that you are tremendously blessed in that way. In fact, I always tell you, I'm so covetous, I'm so jealous, but a
lot of people didn't know that you and I were at law school. You were there part of the time that I was there. So I suspect you might know a little bit more than some other people.
And that's why I'm telling them. That's exactly why you didn't get articles of clerkship.
But I have to tell you that in terms of my academic performance, I say it was mediocre. I mean, I got like a first class pass in tort law, but I was not there killing myself studying 24/7 because I was already at that stage.
I know that. But yet you were the top of the class.
No.
I didn't see you killing yourself.
Well, I mean, I wasn't the top of the class, but Philippa McFarland actually was the top of the class that year.
I remember that right down in the box.
But let me say that academic performance at that stage in my life, I was working, I was in the work environment. I was like, yep, got to stay focused on the academic performance. But I didn't have a desire to be top of the class because if that was the case, I would have really have buckled down with my studies. I was looking for a little bit of study life, school life balance, right? And but like I said, honey child, you are right where you're supposed to be. And these people, every single person who's tried to put a stumbling block in my way has done me a favor. Because that has made me stronger. It has
every time.
Yes, my friend. That has just kept me like, oh, you think I'm gonna bow to you? You think I'm gonna fall and crumble? As somebody said, a lot of times it's our own Caymanians that have tried.
Oh yeah. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes,
no, give us a break.
Yeah,
give us a break. Call the woman up and say, chick, blah, 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 blah. And she can have an answer for you because we Caymanians, we know each other. She can have an answer for you, but it start from there. Don't put that out on the I was going to say the mile road, but that would have been not tongue in cheek. But blah blah. Yeah. Don't let us kill off each other. Don't let us. She has a lot to say, and sometimes we need to have people in place who are willing, for whatever reason, except a bad reason, to get up and speak the truth. And she has that strength. She has that strength. So give her a chance to do that. And her herself should begin to want to throw her hat in the ring for something. I don't know for what, but she has all the chat in the world. She has a lot of contacts. I don't know how much access she has, but she has contacts. So she could be as productive as she wants to be, and maybe, go a little higher than that too. But anyhow, I'm an old woman now, so I go and left you for the day.
Right,
I sent you a text the other day, and as per usual, you don't even say, well, you chat, I got the text.
Which phone did you send it to? Because one thing I noticed, you keep swapping between phones, and sometimes that's a little bit confusing when I'm trying to keep up with a conversation.
Okay, but I guess, well, I'll send it to this one. I'll send it to this one.
No, send it to the other one.
What are this again?
The 324 number. That's the one you must send it to.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, because that is something I would like to explore, because I really need to be doing more and doing better.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem.
Have a nice day, ma'am.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Good. All right, folks. 936 Bo was the telephone number. We're gearing up here. 11:30 this morning, the new governor will be sworn in. She'll arrive actually at 11:30, and so we'll have that live on the social media streams. Sandra Coe says, me too, Sandy. I'm very, very grateful for where you are. Thank God. Thank you. Yeah, you just can't afford to let people stop you. That's all I can tell you. Miss Rena in the house says, you're so right about that. The crabs in a barrel mentality really applies to some of our own. They hate to see other Caymanians doing as good or even better than them, always cutting each other down however they can because of their small-minded and jealous ways. And you can't let that stop you either. But there must be something said. And I want to say this. Cece's here. She says of her mom, he who speaks the truth is the most hated. Cayman needs to stop this crab in the bucket mentality. Not because you don't have backbone to do what someone else is doing doesn't make them a troublemaker. The one thing I want to say, and this is important to make as an observation, yes? Attitude. I love what Darlene said about an attitude that will elevate you, that will increase your altitude. The way in which you say something is also important. So I noticed that one of the comments people said, oh, Miss Amelia always sounds so negative. It is important, folks, for you to be, even when you're giving constructive criticism or when you're addressing issues in your community, to try to do so as positively as you can. Now, I know that might sound like a bit of a contradiction, but it really isn't. This saying that you win more bees with honey, right, is such a truthful saying. It is amazing the things that you can accomplish. You're still trying to accomplish the same thing, but the way in which you say it, the approach in which you take is a bit more positive. You get people on board. You're still speaking the truth, but you're doing so in a way people can understand it. We're being constructive. We're speaking about these organizations, the way in which they need to improve. But it's not everything that they do that's bad. It's not everything that they do that's horrible. You know, I'm so proud of Caymanian-owned businesses, by the way, Grand Old House and the Wharf, that they have that young man there, Mr. Bodden, remind me of his first name now, Laurent Bodden, who came in starting being an assistant server. And look at this Caymanian now in hospitality. I got to sit down and do an interview with him. Look at him now. He is a manager of 2 of Cayman's finest restaurants. Oh my gosh. Can I tell you about the steak over at Grand Old House? I was there for lunch yesterday. So delicioso. And his service. This is a Caymanian. Service top notch. Good morning, caller. Are you trying to be on the program? Hello? Lorenzo. Oh, call the show line, or do you want me to call you back? Yeah, sure. Sorry. Sorry. That was a sneeze, honey child. Something was just tickling my sinuses. But yes, I mean, I think that we also need to highlight the success stories and the positives, right? So little Mr. Bodden, he's a young man. He's probably not that young even, but you know, he is an example of a success story that we need to elevate. But you know, he's put in the work. He's worked hard. He has put in the work. That's why he's a success story. Yes, he was given an opportunity, but look at where he started and look at his young age, what he's now accomplishing and what he's now doing. Child, we didn't even get to talk about scammers today. Oh, they would take up every day's show if we let them because there's so many of them around. Oh my gosh.
Good morning, Miss Sandra. It's Lorenzo.
Morning, Mr. Lorenzo. So for those of you who were catching up, Lorenzo was on the show yesterday morning, and we were discussing the fact that you had purchased a car for $3,000 from a gentleman and you still don't have the car. He promised you this morning by 10 o'clock you'd have your money back. What's going on?
No, Mom. He called me this morning begging some more time till in the evening. And then after he said if I want to take it to the next level. So that's a threat.
What would be the next level?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Lorenzo, I'm going to be a little bit honest with you this morning. I don't think this man has your money, because after the show yesterday, somebody called me and said that he does not even own the car. So the car is not his to sell.
Well, boy.
So this is where you have to be really, really careful. They also said that him and his family have a history of hoodwinking people and scamming people. And so it looks like he's just running a scam. And that's why he's trying to sell that vehicle to multiple people. He did say to me yesterday that he wanted to talk to me off air. I don't often have the opportunity to talk to scammers off air because I just ain't got that kind of time in the day. What's his name again, Kevin? Let me see if we can. Is it Kevin or Keith? What was his name? Keith. All right. Hold on one second. Let me see if we can get Keith on the phone, because what he's going to find himself in a situation here. Hold on, Lorenzo. We're going to call him. He's going to find He's going to find himself arrested, just like Judith Douglas, if he's not careful. Because if this is a scam that he's running on people, the second we alert the RCIPS, they're going to arrest his backside. Now, Everton asked him what happened to the police, but they don't want, they're too busy. They're like, oh, it's a civil matter. It's not a civil matter, actually. It's unfortunate. Somebody else saying that money is lost.
You have reached the voicemail box of 34532.
Yeah, so he's not answering.
I understand that because he called me from a private number enough.
And people who are associated with him are embarrassed to be, because they're like, they don't want other people to be judging them. Keith, you're going to get yourself arrested. That's what's going to happen here. What time today he tell you he can have your money by?
So give him some time till in the evening.
I don't know what do y'all, How can you take, that's dishonesty from the onset. How can you take money from people and know that the car is not in your name, and the person whose name it is never gave you permission to sell the car? He's using the car to pick up children, his own kids, and to help out, the baby mama. And then people tell me he's been sleeping in the car because he has nowhere to sleep. Keith, don't make CMR have to tell the cold hard truth on you here today. Find this man $3,000 and get yourself sorted out. Cindy said this is not the first time he's done it. Darlene says he's listening to CMR now, so of course he's not going to answer the phone. Cindy says, yes, he's probably watching the live show. Listen, he said to give him till 10 o'clock today. It's now 10:30, and here he comes with more excuses again. See what somebody says here? Sandy, Keith is a big gambler. So that's where the money gone. He gambled your money away. My God. No, sir. This is ridiculous. Unbelievable. This person says that money is lost. It's easier to recover the Kirk Pride than that money. What's the Kirk Pride? Is it a boat? I don't know what that is, honey chill. But this is very, very sad. Somebody else was asking, did you get your money back from Keith because it's past 10:15? Nope. Oh, yes. Big shout out to Charles Whitaker this morning. He's reminding me that he was many, many years before the start of Mr. Lorenzo. I'm going to call you back after the show. We have to figure out what the next step is with Keith.
No problem, Mom.
All right, my dear. Charles reminding me that many years before CMR got started, he was almost a lone voice in the wilderness, encouraging me to do this. And I always found every excuse in the book why I wasn't going to even get into news media. And he's like, Sandy, you need to be doing this instead of posting stuff on the Compass, on your platform, on your personal social media pages. You need to be doing this for yourself. And so, Charles saw something at the time that I did not see. Miss Soka says Kurt Pride is a ship that sank in Georgetown Harbor. Oh, I was wondering. It's a cargo ship. The sand off the drop off in town. Okay, what a hot mess. Red flags is right. All right, folks, 1 hour from now, you can tune back in to the program. We'll be live streaming the governor's arrival at the airport. Oh gosh. Cayman Brac, there's had a number of break-ins overnight. We're going to post some of that. That's those people on drugs. I'm telling y'all, they need to get a hold of the drug situation in Brac. We keep talking about it, and they keep ignoring it. They need to get on it. They really, really need to get on it. I'm telling y'all, without fear of contradiction, that this drug issue in the BRAC is extremely serious. We have people here on work permits. I'm going to talk about this on Monday's program. Going to Cayman BRAC in order to get drugs. Now, y'all know that's unacceptable. Come on now. What? Did y'all just heard what I said? Tune in Monday to hear more about that hot mess. Oh, my gosh. Yes, the radio feed was cut. Yeah, Chuck didn't get to me in time. He'd be busy over in the other studio working, honey chill. That's all right. All right, beautiful folks, have a safe weekend. Please tune back in. Charles says, I don't understand how people can still get scammed in these times. Authorized transfer of property before funds paid, or collecting title of property with witness signed before funds paid. Or you do it in real time, because some people transfer and then they don't have the money. You do it at the same time together. Yes? Simple as that. You make sure you see the ownership papers before you give somebody money. Ooh, honey child. Wow. Paul, good morning to you. Yes, everyone, have a safe weekend. We'll talk again on Monday, God's willing. So today at 11:30, we have the arrival of the governor at 2 o'clock, her swearing in. She's the governor designate at this point. Once she's sworn in at 2 o'clock, she becomes the official governor. So you guys tune in for that to see how the process works. And y'all have a fantastic day. I think I got my news. Hold on, let me pull in my news here. I was going to do a clip from the premiere, but I'll do that as like a standalone clip a little bit later on. So let me see here now. Where are we? Oh, did I download the news today? Nope, didn't even do the news. Look at me thinking I'm on top of things. Hold on one second. Only takes me a quick second to download it. Big shout out to Flo for my super fast internet. Yes, honey child. Thank you, Flo. Got a terabyte on the download. That means that it literally takes 10 seconds for me to download the video, the news video. Just like that. Bloop, bloop. Fast internet, clicking and clacking all over the place. Y'all have a beautiful day.
Hello, I'm Kevin Watler, and this is your CMR Daily Buzz. Here's a summary of some of Cayman's latest headlines. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service is looking for 28-year-old Ronald Ernesto Swaby, who was found guilty following a grand court trial for possession of an imitation firearm and is currently on bail awaiting sentencing. He failed to attend a scheduled court appearance this past Monday, and police say that he should not be approached in person, instead should call 911 upon citing him. A 26-year-old man from Georgetown has been formally charged with possession of an imitation firearm with intent to cause harassment, alarm, or distress. This is in relation to a shooting on March 9th at the intersection of Eastern Avenue and Shedding Road. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service says an investigation into the unexplained death of baby Alicity Powell is still open and ongoing, as the police are trying to establish all the facts surrounding the circumstances of her tragic death. The police made this statement after Elaine Dixon Powell, the mother of the child, said her daughter was murdered and the police were not doing enough to investigate her child's death. The DORT Hospitality Training Program is now accepting applications from Caymanians who want to gain hands-on experience across their hospitality portfolio. Successful applicants will receive 3 months of paid training across a variety of departments at the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman, Kimpton Seafire Resort and Spa, and the Hampton by Hilton. The Cayman Islands has been given priority consideration for storm surge modeling under a United States Agency for International Development program to advance early warnings of storm surges and strengthening preparedness across the Caribbean. The Cayman Islands National Weather Service Director General John Tibbetts said the storm surge modeling would assist in predicting, preparing, and coordinating an appropriate response to the hazard of storm surge posed by a particular storm. Meanwhile, a hurricane hunter arrived in Grand Cayman on Wednesday as part of a regional tour to educate and prepare people for the 2023 hurricane season. The visit is part of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, so NOAA, and the United States Air Force Reserve's annual tour of Latin America and the Caribbean, during which they advise on their role in assisting countries in hurricane regions. Now for your CMR weather update, it's brought to you by WG Charters. Sunrise at 6:03, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny skies are expected. When the temperature's at 85 degrees Fahrenheit and the humidity at 69% like the forecast calls for, it will feel like it's in the low 90s. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and the sun sets at 6:45. At nighttime, the temperature falls to the high 70s. Looking forward, similar weather conditions are expected. If you would like to know more on any of these stories, visit CaymanMallRoad.com or follow Cayman Mall Road on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. That's it for now on the Daily Buzz. Thank you for joining me. Please stay safe and God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.